Hey guys, it's me, Amaterasu, back with another part 2, the hope of the Senju clan, aka, what if Naruto was a Senju? But without further ado, roll the intro.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
My wheels got in my bag and I got all my feels. I'm getting this paper, I'm stacking a meal. I'm with your hoe in the house on the hills. Yeah. I'ma keep it real, had to sacrifice to try to get my bands up. Shorty wanna fuck with me, she see me on the camera. She said she in love with me, but really I can't stand her. She just want part of this life cause she see me on the ground.
Chapter 18, Chunin Exams, Konoha Academy. After meeting up with Team 7 outside the Konoha Academy, Naruto and the rest of Team 7 entered the building and headed for the room where the exam would be held. As they walked up the flight of stairs to the floor where the exam was going to be held, they saw a large crowd gathered outside the room on the second floor, where the exam was said to be held. As they got closer, they saw a boy in a green outfit being pushed back by two tall-looking Genin, who were blocking the way into the room. "You're actually trying to take the Chunin exam at your level?" mocked one of the Genin. "You kids should quiet while you still can, as you won't last in the exam," said the other Genin. "Please just let us through," spoke Tenten as she helped Lee back up and then tried to walk, though only to be pushed back by one of the two boys. "Hey there, no need to do that," spoke another Genin, and the waiting crowed. "Ha, we're doing you all a favor by keeping from doing the exam, as it is extremely difficult and we've seen people get seriously injured in it, since they weren't ready for it," spoke one of the two boys who had two bandages on his cheeks. "He's right, as a Chunin is a leader of the squad and it's his job to make sure that his subordinates come back alive from a mission. So what's wrong with weeding out the weaklings, as they aren't going to pass anyway if they can't get by us," said the other boy. "That's a pretty sound argument, but I'll pass," spoke Sasuke as he stepped forward. "Also undo this field that you created by using genjutsu, as I want to go to the third floor where the exam is being held." At hearing this, many people in the crowd grew confused, not understanding what Sasuke was talking about. "Oh, so you notice?" spoke the boy with the bandages on his face. "Yay, you guys also noticed earlier?" said Sasuke, where he looked back at Naruto and Sakura, "as both of you have the best analyzing skills and genjutsu know-how on our squad." Naruto have just nodded, as he had indeed noticed upon coming to the second floor, while Sakura, who hadn't really noticed at all, just pretended to have and take any praise she could get from Sasuke. Sai had also noticed the weak genjutsu, but like Naruto had said nothing, not wanting to draw attention to himself. "You're pretty good, but just being able to detect isn't enough," spoke the boy with the bandages on his face. He quickly flipped forward to kick Sasuke, who saw it coming and prepared to block the kick with a kick of his own. But just as the two were about to hit each other, Lee suddenly appeared between them and caught both their legs. "He's fast," thought Naruto with some surprise, as he only noticed Lee right when he appeared between Sasuke at the other Genin. "He's a completely different person that he was a moment ago. He must have been only letting those guys push him around so to keep his real skill level from everyone else so they would underestimate him." He stopped by kick, thought Sasuke with some surprise and annoyance at how easily Lee had caught his kick. Soon after, Lee let go of both Sasuke and the other boy, where when he did, his teammates walked up to him. "You broke our promise," spoke Neji, when he at Tenten came up to Lee. "You're the one who didn't want to gain people's attention by doing something to stand out." "I'm sorry," spoke Lee, where the then turned to look at Sakura and blush a little. Upon seeing this, Neji scoffed as he figured Lee had done what he did to impress Sakura. After being scolded by Neji, Lee then walked up to Sakura. "My name is Rock Lee, let's go out together. I'll protect you till the day I die," spoke Lee, where he then did his nice guy pose. Upon hearing this, Naruto had to bite down hard on his own lip to keep from laughing at the look on horror on Sakura's face, after hearing Lee. But even still, he could not help but let a few snickers out. "I guess it's true," as Ne-san said. "There is always someone out there for someone else," thought the young blonde with a slight chuckle. Even the emotionless Sai found the situation funny, where a slight smile appeared on his face at the sight of Sakura and Lee. Thankfully, though, Sakura let Lee down easily, stating that he was too unique for her tastes, which of course made the young green-wearing youth fanatic depress, but it was still better than how Naruto thought Sakura would do it. "Hey, you there," spoke Neji as he walked towards Team 7 and looked at Sasuke. "Identify yourself." "You're supposed to introduce yourself first, before asking for someone's name," replied Sasuke coolly, as he stared back at the young male Hyuga. Neji of course frowned a little at Sasuke's remark. You're a rookie aren't you? What age are you? I'm not obligated to answers that answered the young Uchiha. Tenten of course giggled at this, as it wasn't every day that someone would act so definitely towards Neji. He's cute thought the bun-haired girl, as he looked at Sasuke. Angered by Sasuke's blatant disrespect towards him, Neji quickly moved forward towards Sasuke, but before he could take more than a single step forward, he was blocked by Naruto who stepped forward between Sasuke and Neji, stopping what he knew could turn into a fight. Easy there wide eyes, no need to start something that gets us all in trouble and who are you? Asked Neji as he stared at Naruto. He's teammate, as well as the person who knows that none of us really have much time to play around, especially if we want to enter the exam room before the exam starts, said the blonde boy. At hearing this Neji frowned a little with annoyance, but knew that Naruto was right. Knowing that they did not have much, Neji just huffed with annoyance, where he just stepped back. Come on guys let's go, spoke Naruto, where he leads Sasuke and the others to the stairs so to reach the third floor. As they headed for the stairs, Sasuke looked to Naruto. You didn't need to interfere Naruto, I could have handled him. Well better safe than sorry team. Besides like I said we don't have much time to waste before the exam, replied Naruto, where the young Uchiha just nodded. As Naruto and Team 7 made their way to the third floor, the Tsunade boys, who had been fighting with Sasuke and Lee, watched the members of Team 7 head up to the next floor. Those older kids must be the students of Guy and the blonde and raven-haired kids must be the Uchiha and Senju clan heirs that everyone has been talking about, spoke the bandage-wearing boy. Yeah, and I guess they all passed the application turn-in phase, replied the other boy. Oh yeah, replied the bandage-wearing boy, where he and his partner quickly turned into two more older forms of themselves and revealing that they were both actually Chunin examiners. Looks like we can enjoy ourselves with the candidates this year, Kotetsu said, one of the two Chunins, to his partner. That we can, Izumo, replied Kotetsu, where he and his partner then disappeared in a puff of smoke. As Sasuke and the others walked down the hallway, Neji noticed the Uchiha clan symbol on Sasuke's back and quickly realized who he was. Uchiha Sasuke. Neji was of course not the only one who noticed the symbol on Sasuke's back, as Lee also noticed it as well. He interests you? Asked Tenten. Neji of course did not respond to Tenten's question and simply walked away. Come on Lee let's go, spoke Tenten, as she turned to her teammate, as she planned to follow after Neji. You guys go ahead, I have something I want to check out. I'll catch up with you later, spoke the boy, as he turned to the direction that Naruto and Team 7 went. What's all that about? Asked Tenten as she turned to Neji. TSK, how would I know, scoffed Neji, not really caring, where he just continued on, with Tenten following closely behind. As Naruto and Team 7 headed to the exam room, they entered a large hallway, where Lee caught up to them and called out to them. Hey you, with the sharp eyes. Upon hearing Lee's call them, Naruto and the others turned around and saw that Lee was the one who had called Sasuke. What is it? Asked Sasuke. Will you fight me here and now? Asked the green jumpsuit wearing boy. Upon hearing this, Sasuke raised his eyebrow, unsure whether to accept Lee's request or not, although as he stared at Lee, he remembered how easily he had caught his kick earlier. Fine, I accept, said Sasuke with a smirk, as he was eager to have another go at Lee. Don't, Sasuke, remember we don't have time for stuff like this, said Naruto. Don't worry Naruto, this won't take long, replied Sasuke confidently, where he then charged straight at Lee, who waited for Sasuke to come to him. I'm sorry Guy sensei, but I fear I must break my promise and use that move, thought Lee, as he saw Sasuke charging at him. As Sasuke neared Lee, he quickly brought his right fist forward and went to hit him, but just as he did, Lee disappeared right before his eyes, much to his shock. The next thing Sasuke knew, Lee appeared in midair behind him and cried out, Konoha Senpu, Lee Whirlwind. As he did a spinning midair kick, Sasuke although quickly ducked under the kick, but as he did, Lee came around again with another spinning kick. Knowing he couldn't avoid the second kick, Sasuke quickly brought up his right arm to block it, but somehow Lee was able to pass through Sasuke's guard and hit Sasuke dead on the side of the face, sending him flying. Naturally Naruto, Sakura and even Sai were surprised by this, as they had seen Sasuke bring his guard up. Damn, whoever this guy is, he's good, thought Naruto, as he couldn't tell how Lee did it. What the hell was that? Did he use some kind of ninjutsu or genjutsu to get by my guard? Thought Sasuke. He slowly picked himself up. Impressive, even after I delivered a direct hit, he is still able to stand up, but I expected this nonetheless, thought Lee as he watched Sasuke pick himself up. Humph, I guess this is as good a time as any to use to my things, stated Sasuke, where he then channeled chakra to his eyes and activated his Sharingan. Sharingan, thought Sakura when she saw Sasuke's eyes. So Sasuke has finally learned how to activate his Sharingan at will? Thought Naruto when he saw Sasuke's eyes. Intriguing, Danzo-sama will be interested to know this, thought Sai, as he knew that his master would be interested to know that Sasuke had learned to activate his Sharingan at will now. So those are the famed Sharingan, I've heard about, thought Lee as he got ready, as he knew what to do next. Yes, Sasuke-kun can win now, as with the Sharingan he can see through whatever technique that bushy eyebrow guy is using. Just like Kakashi-sensei, thought Sakura, you're amazing Sasuke-kun. Now I will know your secret. Thought Sasuke as he readied his eyes and charged at Lee again. But just as he neared Lee, the bushy eyebrow boy disappeared right before his eyes again. After which he reappeared directly underneath Sasuke and cried out Konoha Shofu, Leaf Rising Wind, where he kicked his leg upward and set Sasuke flying up into the air, much to the horror of Sakura and surprise of Naruto and Sai. His moves, I couldn't detect them with my Sharingan, thought Sasuke, as he floated in mid-air before landing back on the ground. After which Lee then charged at Lee, where he engaged Sasuke in a fierce taijutsu fight, where he was forced on the defensive, since Lee avoided every strike that Sasuke tried to hit him with. After a minute or so of fighting, Lee quickly ducked under another punch from Sasuke, where he then delivered a power elbow to the stomach, causing the young Uchiha to stumble back a bit and hold his stomach in pain. As you can see, my moves are solely hand-to-hand, spoke Lee, where he once again disappeared and reappeared behind Sasuke, who spun around and tried to hit him, but missed again, as Lee jumped back to avoid the punch. I am well aware of the abilities of your Sharingan, where it can see through ninjutsu, genjutsu, and taijutsu, but unlike the first two, taijutsu is a little different, as unlike ninjutsu and genjutsu, there is no requirement for forming seals or needing chakra. What do you mean by that? Asked Sasuke, who had gotten over the shock of Lee knowing so much about his Sharingan. What I mean is that although your Sharingan allows you to see my movements, your body does not have the speed to keep up with my moves, which is why you cannot beat me, spoke Lee confidently, which of course angered Sasuke. Naruto on the other hand found this little bit of information very interesting, as he was unaware of this limitation involving the Sharingan. This of course also made him wonder even more who Lee was. Infuriated at how Lee was beating him with little to no trouble, Sasuke charged at Lee, swinging wildly in the hopes of hitting the older boy. But each time Lee easily evaded Sasuke's attacks. Your Sharingan and my superior hand-to-hand fighting skills are a bad combination, spoke Lee as he avoided more of Sasuke's punches, after which he moved forward to attack Sasuke, who tried to block, but was too slow and once again was kicked into the air, after which Lee then used his Kage Buyo, Shadow of the Dancing Leaf, to appear right behind Sasuke. Now I shall prove to you with this move, that hard worker such as myself, can surpass natural geniuses like you, spoke Lee, where he then loosed his bandages around his arms. I win, stated Lee, where just as he was about to deliver the final blow, he noticed an object at the corner of his eye, flying through the air at great speed, where it pierced the ends of Lee's bandages and pinned them to the wall, stopping Lee from doing his final move. When the object pinned the bandages to the wall, those watching the fight saw that the object was a paper windmill, after which a person suddenly yelled out, "Stop right there, Lee!" Where when everyone turned they saw a large red turtle with a Konoha headband around its neck. Seeing the turtle, Lee quickly moved away from Sasuke and quickly reappeared on his knees in front of the turtle. At the same time, Sakura quickly jumped forward and caught Sasuke, who had been falling to the ground, after Lee moved away from him. Sakura of course asked Sasuke if he was alright, but the Uchiha did not acknowledge her question and just continued to stare at Lee, who was still kneeling in front of the large red turtle. Looking at Sasuke, Naruto could tell that he was still in shock over what just had happened, something that Naruto couldn't fault him for, since Lee had utterly overwhelmed Sasuke with his superior speed and combat skill. Even Naruto had to admit that Lee was an extremely dangerous person to fight, where he was unsure if he could beat Lee without going all out, given what he just seen. Quickly turning back to Lee, Naruto saw the large red turtle scolding Lee over using the move that he was about to do, saying how it was forbidden. This of course made Naruto all the more curious as to what the move was. At the same time that the turtle was scolding Lee, Sasuke was glaring daggers at the back of Lee's head, as he couldn't believe that he got beaten by a weird guy like Lee. After scolding Lee, the red turtle then said, "Guy-sensei, please take care of the rest," after which a large puff of smoke appeared on top of the turtle's shell. Once the smoke dissipated, an adult-like version of Lee appeared on top of the turtle, doing a ridiculous-looking pose, one that not even Naruto's godfather Jiraiya would do. "You guys are in the springtime of your life, aren't you?" cried the man named Guy when he appeared. Naturally, upon seeing Guy, all the members of Team 7, including Sai, were completely freaked out by the man. "This guy is an even bigger weirdo than that other guy," stated Sai, where for once Sakura, Naruto and Sasuke were in complete agreement with him. "Hey, don't make fun of Guy-sensei," cried Lee angrily, as he turned around for look Naruto and the others. "Kind of hard not to," With all these weirdos around, replied Sai with his normal emotionless tone. What did you say? Cried Lee out angrily, as Sai had a real knack for pissing people off. Lee, cut it out, said Guy, not really caring what Sai had said. Where once Lee had turned around, he slugged the U-boy right in the face, calling him an idiot and sending him across the room, which freaked the members of Squad 7 even more at what Guy had done. After punching Lee, Guy then went over to his student, where out of nowhere a sunset background appeared out of nowhere.
Enter Naruto sexy theme sensei. I said Lee, who was crying anime tears of sorrow.
It's okay, Lee, don't say any more, spoke Guy as he knelt down next to Lee. Sensei, cried Lee as he jumped into his sensei arms. Lee, cried Guy as he hugged his student, after which a giant wave appeared in the background. Naturally, upon seeing this sight, the members of Team 7 were horrified beyond words. Egg, what the hell is this thing? It has to be some kinds of gene justy, cried the horrified Naruto, as he tried to cancel the cursed thing, but found he could not. I take back what I said, those two aren't weirdos, they're full-blown freaks, spoke an equally horrified Sai, who found this sight more horrible than his own training en route. Someone stop it, please, for the love of Kami, stop it, cried Sakura. I can't believe I actually lost this guy, thought Sasuke as he watched the horror show that he was witnessing right now. Yes, this is youth, spoke a crying Guy as he continued to hug Lee, which made Naruto begin to wonder if this was crossing student-sensei relationship. Sensei. After a minute or so, Guy let go of Lee and stood up. It's okay, Lee, it's normal to make mistakes when you're young. You're too kind, Sensei. Now, run 100 laps at the training ground in the sunset, said Guy, a still crying Guy, as he pointed to the doors outside, where somehow the sunset background appeared again. Hi, Sensei, replied a still crying Lee. Let's go, spoke Guy. Yes sir, and Naruto's sexy theme. Wait, you can't go, the Chunin exams are about to start. If you leave now, you'll miss it, cried Naruto. What? Oh yeah, said Guy as he scratched his head out of embarrassment, as he had forgotten about the exam. Turning back to Lee, Guy spoke to his student. Lee, I'm going to punish you for fighting and for breaking a promise after the exams, okay? Hi, replied Lee, where he saluted his sensei. They're idiots, thought all four members of Squad 7 at the exact same time. Soon after, though, Guy turned to the four genins and finally took notice of them. They must be Kakashi's, but the blonde boy, could he be? Thought Guy. Crap, he's looking our way, thought Sakura with worry. You young boy, spoke Guy as he pointed at Naruto. Are you by chance Senju Naruto? Yeah, that's me, replied Naruto, which of course got a surprise gasp from Lee, who had been unaware of whom Naruto was, as he had never bothered to ask. Yosh, I am honored to meet the son of the slug princess Tsunade-sama, cried Guy as he walked towards Naruto and took his hand and shook it. I've also heard a great deal of your exploits, especially your defeat of Kakashi and passing his test, along with your teammates here. Trust me, Guy sensei, most of the stories about me defeating Kakashi are a bit exaggerated, as Kakashi sensei didn't go all out on me and I had a few aces in the hole that he didn't know about. I only beat him because I got lucky, replied Naruto. Upon hearing this, Guy smiled, where his teeth gleamed brightly, making the members of Team 7 wonder if he bleached his teeth. Yosh, I can see that you're indeed in the springtime of your youth, given how humble you're, for I am well aware that Kakashi would not have fought you seriously in his test, but even still to defeat him is no small feat. Excuse me, Guy sensei, but do you know Kakashi sensei? Asked Sakura. I don't just know him, people call us eternal rivals. Upon hearing this, all four genin gave Guy a weird look, not believe that in the least, as it sounded completely fake. These guys are complete idiots, thought Sai. Naturally, seeing the skeptically looks on the four genin's faces, Guy decided to prove himself, where within the blink of an eye, Guy disappeared and appeared directly behind them. But none of the genin knew this until Guy spoke from behind them, making all four of them jump slightly. Currently now the record stands with 50 wins and 49 loses, spoke Guy when he reappeared behind Team 7. Naturally, after hearing Guy's voice from behind and turning around to see, all four genins were shocked, as none of them had sensed him until he spoke up. But when did he? Thought Sakura. What, he's fast. Thought Sasuke. Shit, this guy is fast, thought Naruto. As expected from the famed Mito guy, thought Sai as he had heard of Guy from his master. Also, let me tell you all that I'm stronger than Kakashi, stated Guy. Stronger than Kakashi? Thought Sasuke, who was unsure whether to believe Guy or not. Well, his speed is definitely better than Kakashi, damn it, there's no way he can be bluffing, especially after what he just did. Damn, I need to gather some intel on this Guy character, as I've never even heard of him, but he's clearly a powerful shinobi and not someone to take lightly, especially given what he just did and given how strong Lee is as well, thought Naruto, as he planned to do some intel gather later on after the exam. Lee caused you all some trouble, but please forgive him, as he meant no real harm, said Guy as he looked at Naruto and the others, who just nodded. After which he then freed Lee's bandages from the paper windmill that he pierced it with, so to allow Lee to re-bandage his hands. As he did, Naruto noticed the many bruises and cuts that were underneath Lee bandages, showing how hard Lee must have trained. Once Lee was re-bandaged, Guy then told them that both Lee and them should hurry to the exam or else they miss it. After which both Guy and the large red turtle puffed away in a puff of smoke. Sasuke-kun, before we part ways, let me say this. To be honest, the only reason I wanted to fight you was to test my skills. You should also know that there is some else on my team who is stronger than me, and you've met him earlier. You're referring to that guy from earlier? Asked Sasuke, where Lee just nodded. I entered this exam to defeat him, but you're also one of my targets, as are you, Naruto-kun, spoke Lee, where he then looked Naruto when he mentioned his name, who just nodded, while Sasuke narrowed his eyes and gritted his teeth in anger, as his defeat at Lee's hands was still fresh on his mind. I suggest that you both prepare yourselves for the exam. Finished Lee before he jumped away and ran to where his teammates would be waiting for him. Well, I guess that the Uchiha clan isn't all that great after all, spoke Sai suddenly with his traditional fake smile. Sai, cried Sakura angrily, where she was about to try and hit Sai for his remark, but before she could, Sasuke suddenly spoke up. Shut up. The next time I face him, I'll slaughter him. If you believe that, then I can assure you will he beat you into the ground, worse than he did a few minutes ago, spoke Naruto, which of course infuriated Sasuke even more. Naruto, cried Sakura, as she couldn't believe how both Sai and Naruto were both putting Sasuke down. It's the truth, as I saw his hands, before he rebandaged them, they were covered in bruises and cuts from training, many of which were old ones by the look of them. This revelation of course surprised both Sasuke and Sakura, as neither of them had paid attention to Lee's hands. Given that, this Lee guy has clearly been training more than you, and a lot more intensely, probably every single day to have all those injuries. It's that simple, stated Naruto. At first, Sasuke did not take what Naruto had to say well, but soon realized that Naruto was right, after which he just smirked. Well, that's just fine, as this just makes things more interesting. Naruto of course just smirked back, as he knew that his lose to Lee had made Sasuke all the more determined to do well in the Chunin exam. After a few minutes, Naruto and the other final made it to where the room where the Chunin exam was happening. But as they neared the doorway, they saw Kakashi along with Yamato and Kushina, waiting for them at the doorway. Ah, so you all came, that's good, now you can all do the exam, said Kakashi. What do you mean by that, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Sakura, not understanding what Kakashi meant. Well, you see, the Chunin exam can only be taken in teams of 3 or more, where if you do not come together as a team then you can't enter. Given your past disagreements with one another, we were unsure if you could move past them and come together as a team, which we're pleased to see, since you came here together, spoke Yamato. So what would have happened if Naruto had come here without us, or if we had come here without him? Asked Sakura. We would have stopped you here, and prohibited you from doing the exam, answered Kushina seriously, after which she then smiled, but since that isn't the case, you can do the exam, so good luck to all of you and kick some ass. At this, Naruto and the others smiled and nodded, where they then went through the double doors of the room. When they entered the room, they found it to be full of other genin from various shinobi villages, who were staring at them as they entered the room. Upon seeing so many different genins that looked strong, Sakura quickly became nervous and unsure of herself, fortunately though a distraction came in the form of a blonde-haired girl. Naruto-kun, you're late, cried the person, where a blonde blur quickly jumped up on top of Naruto on his right, making it hard for the blonde boy to keep his balance and keep standing. When Sakura and the others looked, they saw that the person was none other than Ino, who had her arms wrapped around Naruto and was hugging him tightly. I've been eagerly waiting for you, Naruto-kun, ever since I heard about the Chunin exams, as I knew you'd be in it for certain, as I haven't seen you in ages, said Ino as she hugged Naruto tighter. But Ino, it's only been a fortnight since I last saw you, replied a slightly annoyed Naruto, since he didn't appreciate Ino jumping on top of him and nearly making him fall. But that's still a long time, Naruto-kun, replied Ino affectingly, pressing herself closer to her crush. Ino, get off Naruto, as he on our team and I won't stand for your sabotaging our team. You can cuddle up to him after the exam, cried Sakura. Huh, as if I would do anything to Naruto-kun. You're just jealous that I'm closer to Naruto-kun than you am with Sasuke. No to mention that Naruto-kun is way cuter than Sasuke is, said Ino as she let go of Naruto and got off him. No way, Sasuke-kun is 100 times cuter than Naruto is, retorted Sakura, where the two girls got into an argument over who was cuter, much to the annoyance of said boys. Don't tell me that you guys are also going to take this troublesome exam, too? Asked an annoyed Shikamaru, as he and Choji walked up to Naruto and the others. Hey Shikamaru, hey Choji, you guys are all doing the exam as well? greeted Naruto when he saw the two boys, who both greeted Naruto in response and acknowledged that they were indeed doing the exam. "Huh, so you guys are all doing the exam as well," spoke a new voice, where when everyone looked they saw Kiba, Shino and Hinata walking towards them. Upon seeing Hinata, Naruto of course greeted the young Hyuga heiress with a friendly smile, a wave, like he always would. This of course made you young girl blush bright red and stutter out a nervous hello, while doing that thing she does with her fingers. "Are you doing the exam as well?" asked Shikamaru in his usual bored tone. "Yeah, it seems that we're all going to do the exam together," replied Kiba, where he then finally took notice of Sai. "And who are you? I don't know you." "This is Sai. He was the one who took Naruto's place on our team when he left it," said Sakura as she introduced Sai to everyone. "Hello, nice to meet you all," replied Sai with a seemingly friendly greeting and wave, which Naruto and the rest of Team 7 knew was fake, just like the fake smile he had on. "Humph, he's not bad looking and he's kinds of looks like Sasuke a bit, but still he's nowhere as near as cute as my Naruto-kun is," thought Ino, as she then wrapped her arms around Naruto's right arm, which made said boy roll his eyes at her antics. "Humph, you don't look like much," scoffed Kiba, as he wasn't impressed with Sai. "That's funny, I thinking the same thing, especially with the flea bag on your head," spoke Sai, who still had his fake smile on. "What?" cried Kiba, and he took a step forward and looked ready to attack, while Akamaru growled angrily at Sai at being called a flea bag. Luckily though, before things could get out of hand, Naruto intervened and stepped between Kiba and Sai. "Whoa, easy there Kiba, I admit Sai is a real jerk, but just let it go, as this isn't really the best place to start a fight." "Naruto-san is correct," Kiba spoke Shino suddenly as he placed his hand on Kiba's shoulder. "We cannot afford to start an incident here that would prevent from doing the exam." At this Kiba relented, but still glared angrily at Sai, who just smiled and ignored Kiba's glares. "It is good to see you again Naruto-san, I assume that you are ready for the exam," spoke Shino, as he turned to Naruto. "Yep, I'm as ready as can be, are you?" replied Naruto. "Of course we are," stated Kiba, "as we've been training like hell, especially when you weren't working with us, and we won't lose to you." "Good, because I hate to have trained so hard recently, for a first round knockout," stated Naruto with a smirk. "So would that mean that you've become even stronger now Naruto-kun?" spoke a new voice, that sounded familiar to Naruto and the members of Team 7. When everyone turned around, they saw 3 Kiri Genins walking towards them, one of whom Naruto and Team 7 immediately recognized. "Haku?" spoke Naruto in surprise when he saw the apprentice of Zabuza, who just nodded when she heard her name. Haku of course hadn't really changed much since Naruto and the others last saw her. The only real change was her outfit, although her hairstyle remained the same. Instead of wearing the same uniform that she had at Nami no Kuni, Wave Country, Haku now wore an outfit that showed her feminine figure. She wore simple sandals and knee pads along with a short skirt, which just stopped below her hips. She also wore a loose shoulderless top, with a fishnet shirt underneath it, and had a long black scarf around her neck, which fell down to her lower back. On her arms she also wore a pair of armbands, elbow pads and fingerless gloves. "It is good to see you again Naruto-kun, all of you," spoke Haku with a smile. "Holy crap, she hot," thought Kiba as he eyed Haku up and down. "Are you entering the Chunin exam as well Haku?" asked Sakura. "Yes, both my team and I are participating in the Chunin exam," spoke Haku, where she then introduced them to her 2 teammates Chojuro and Saito. Chojuro had short tufty blue hair, and dark eyes. He wore square, black-rimmed glasses connected to what appear to be headphones, a blue pinstriped shirt and camouflage pattern pants. Also, he wore his forehead protector on the front of his holster, which he uses to carry Hiramkare. The sword itself is wrapped in bandages, leaving only the double hilt visible. He also has shuriken holsters strapped onto each of his legs. Saito had short spiky black hair, and dark eyes. He wore a sleeveless dark blue coat and black long-sleeved shirt underneath it, and carried a medium-length chokudo blade on his back. He wore a pairing of black gloves on his hands and wore his forehead protector around his waist, along with a long sash with the symbol of Kiri. He also wore a simple black shinobi pants and a pair of simple shinobi sandals. Saito of course greeted Naruto and Team 7, with respect, but studied Sai, Sasuke and Naruto closely, as he had heard how skilled they were from his sensei Zabuza and his teammate Haku. Chojuro also greeted Naruto and the members of Team 7 nervously, as like Saito he had heard much about Sai, Sasuke and Naruto from Haku and Zabuza. He was especially worried he would have to face them in the exam at some point, since he was unsure if he could stand up to any of them. Especially Naruto, as he had heard from both his sensei and Haku that out of the 4 Genin, Naruto was the strongest among them, as he was able to use the superhuman strength of his mother Tsunade to a great degree, and could use the sword fighting style of his sensei, the famed Baratie Shinku no Ikari, Bloody Crimson Fury. Naruto-kun, who exactly are these people? Asked Ino as she held tightly onto Naruto's arm and narrowed her eyes when she saw Haku and heard her use the kun suffix, and although Ino wouldn't admit it, she was also slightly threatened by Haku, especially given her beauty, which rivaled her own. Even Hinata, who was a few feet away, became concerned, as she already doubted herself in trying to get closer to Naruto, since Ino was also after Naruto. The reason why Hinata doubted herself when compared to Ino was because she did not think she could compete with someone like Ino, who was attractive, popular and confident, everything that she, Hinata, wasn't. But now with Haku, Hinata's fears of losing her chance with Naruto only grew, as Haku was extremely beautiful, and by the way she held herself, Hinata could tell that Haku was both a confident and strong kunoichi. "Oh yay, everyone, this is Haku. We met during our first mission outside the village, where we fought each other," explained Naruto. "So you guys were enemies," stated Choji, as he munched on some crisps he was eating. "Yay, that is until Haku and her sensei were betrayed by their employer, who tried to have them killed along with us. Obviously he failed, and after he was dealt with, we called a truce and came to an understanding, and we became friends, and later on Haku and her sensei returned to their village." After hearing this, many of the others had curious looks and looked to Sakura and Sasuke to see if it was true, where the two just nodded, confirming what Naruto had said. Once the others knew the story behind Haku and Team 7, Naruto decided to ask Haku something he had been wondering. "So Haku-chan, if you're here, am I right in assuming that Zabuza is your team sensei?" asked Naruto, as he highly doubted that Zabuza would allow anyone other than himself to train Haku, and Haku would only recognize Zabuza as her sensei. "Hi, Zabuza-sama is our team sensei," replied Haku, after which Naruto nodded and then introduced Haku to the rest of the rookie Jinan and got to talking with her. With Yugito and her team, as Naruto continued to talk with Haku and her team, Yugito and the rest of her team watched them from the other end of the room. As they watched them, Amoe spoke up, "Man, Naruto certainly popular with the girls here." "How so?" asked Kairo. "Well, look at how that Kiri girl is chatting him up, and that Hyuga girl staring at him, not to mention that hot blonde girl who literally jumped him when he came in, humph. As if he'd be interested in a floozy like that," blonde scoffed Yugiro with a slight frown on her face. "Agreed," replied Samui, with her usually cold and emotionless tone. At this, Amoe smirked a little. "How would you two know what Naruto's type is?" "We would not, but given Naruto's personality it seems unlikely he would be interested in girls like her," responded Samui. At this, Amoe just smirked more. "If I didn't know better, I would think that you two were jealous." At this comment, Yugito and Samui both snapped their heads to turn to Amoe. "Jealous!" Us. Spoke the Yugito in surprise, while Samui just stared emotionlessly at the dark-skinned boy. "Well, it's just an observation, since before we found out the truth about Naruto, you Yugito often talked about him and how you like to see him again and how you admire him. I only said that, as I wanted to fight him again, and I admire his fighting skill, as he is the only person around our age that has ever really challenged me and the only person other than B-sensei to beat me," stated Yugito. "Well, I'm just saying that's how it looks," replied Amoe. "You know, he has a point, Kitten," spoke the Nibi inside Yugito's mind. "The boy is strong, kind, loyal, and has an essence of mystery about him, where I can still sense that familiar power from within him. Yet I still cannot place where I have felt it before, not to mention you've stated so yourself from time to time that he isn't bad looking." "Shut it, Nibi, it's nothing like that. I just admire Naruto as a shinobi and a worthy rival, nothing more," stated an annoyed Yugito in her mind. "Hey, I just saying, Kitten," replied the cat Bijou. "Not to mention Naruto is the only guy that was able to cop a feel of you, Samui, and not get beaten to near death for it. Hence it makes one wonder why you let him go so easily," continued Amoe, where as soon as he was finished, he was met with an icy stare that made the young boy flinch. "I suggest that you be careful what you say, Amoe, as I warned you what would happen should you ever mention that incident again," spoke Samui in a cold and dangerous tone, which made you young boy shiver slightly, especially when he remembered what Samui promised to do to him should he ever tell anyone how Naruto groped her by accident when they first met. Upon remembering the threat, Amoe decided to remain silent, after which the four of them waited patiently for the exam to start, while at the same time watching Naruto and his friends, since both he and Sasuke were their assigned targets for the mission. With Neji, Lee and Tenten at the same time, as when the Kumo Nins were talking amongst themselves, Lee was finishing telling Neji and Tenten who Naruto really was, where upon learning the truth, both of them were naturally surprised. "Ooh, I can't believe it, I had the perfect chance to talk to him and I let it slip right by," moaned a disappointed Tenten, due to the opportunity to talk to the son of her idol, especially after she planned so many different ways she would introduce herself to when she would meet him. "I suggest you contain yourself, Tenten, as regardless of his heritage, he is still only a person, and just because he is related to famed and powerful shinobis, it does not necessarily mean that he will be as strong as them," replied Neji. But he is strong, Neji-kun, as he even admitted that the story about him defeating Hatake Kakashi is true, although he did state that he got lucky and that Kakashi-san had not been serious when they fought, spoke Lee. Perhaps, but I still remain skeptical of the matter, replied Neji, although he did eye Naruto with a calculating look, as if trying to figure Naruto out. Well, regardless, you've to admit, he is an interesting person, said Tenten. Indeed, replied the Hyuga prodigy. With Naruto and the others, as Naruto and the others talked to Haku and her team, they suddenly heard someone call out to them. Hey you guys. When the group turned, they saw a tall silver-haired young teen with glasses walk up to them. You guys should quieten down a bit and stop attracting attention to yourselves, spoke the silver-haired youth. You lot are the rookie 10 that just graduated from the academy this year, correct? Geez, the way you're all yapping it up and chatting away without a care, you'd think you were on a field trip or something. And I can tell right here and now that if you think this exam is easy, you're fooling yourselves, replied the boy. Who the hell do you think you're, to talk to us like that? Cried Ino, where she finally let go of Naruto's arm. I am Yakashi Kabuto, and just look around you. Spoke the boy named Kabuto. When the rookie Genin looked around, they saw many of the other Genin in the room, staring at them with cold and serious looks. Everyone here is tense, since the exam is going to start soon, said Kabuto, where he then pointed to the left of the rookie Genin and Kiri Genin. Those Genin over there are all from Amigakur, Hidden Rain, and most of them have short tempers. The reason I'm warning you is because I don't want any trouble to start before the exam, explained Kabuto. Although I guess it can't be helped since you're all new here and don't know anything. So does that mean you have done this exam before? Sakura asked when she turned to look at Kabuto. This is my 7th time doing the exam, replied the older boy, which of course surprised most of the group. This exam takes place only twice a year and this is my 4th year doing the exam. So that would mean that you know a lot about what happens in this exam? Asked Sakura, where the boy just nodded. Yet, you haven't passed? Asked Haku, with a slight frown, as she found that there was something off about Kabuto. Yeah, that's true, I'm afraid, replied the seemingly embarrassed boy. Does that mean that the Chunin exams are that difficult? Asked Shikamaru. Pretty much, replied Kabuto, where the young Nara heir began to mutter how troublesome this all was. Well, since you're all new and all, and since I feel sorry for you, I give you so tips. With these spoke Kabuto, as he took out a deck of cards from his pouch. What are they? Asked Ino. They are my recognition card, answered Kabuto, where after seeing the confused look on the Genin's faces, he went to explain further. In basic terms, they're cards with information burnt into them using my chakra. I've gathered information on this exam for the past 4 years, meaning I've a lot of information on a lot of different people and places, stated Kabuto, where he then started to explain what the Chunin exam was all about. Once Kabuto had finished explaining what the exam was about, Sasuke decided to ask a question. You say that you've information on a lot of different people, does that mean you've information on the combatants in this exam? Yes, I do. Is there someone you're interested in? Asked the boy, with a ghost of a smirk, where Sasuke just nodded. Well, the information I've on this year's examinees is not perfect, but I've burnt and saved them onto my cards, which includes all of you, stated Kabuto, where at hearing this, both Haku, her team and Naruto all frowned, as they did not like this. Now tell me what you can about these people you're interested in and I'll look them up for you, said Kabuto. Gaara of Sunagakur, Hidden Sand, Rock Lee of Konohagakure, Hidden Leaf, Niyugito of Kamagakure, Hidden Cloud, and Samui of Kamagakure, spoke Sasuke. At hearing this, Naruto looked at Sasuke with a bit of surprise, since he could understand why he was interested in Gaara, given their meeting, as well as Lee, since he had beaten Sasuke. But Naruto had not expected Sasuke to ask about Yugito and Samui, since he did not have any kind of confrontation with the girls. Naruto's only guess as to why Sasuke was asking about them was because they girls had left some sort of impression on Sasuke, after the Kumo Genin attacked him. Naruto. Oh, so you know their names, then this will be easy, replied Kabuto, where he took out 4 cards from his deck and then channeled chakra into it, after which a small puff of smoke came from the card, where a profile and picture of Lee appeared on the card. Let's start with Rock Lee, said Kabuto. Now he is 1 year older than you. He has done 20D rank missions and 11C rank mission. He's team sensei in Mido Guy. He has extremely high hand-to-hand combat skills, but all his other skills are terrible. He gained a lot of attention last year, as a highly skilled rookie Genin, but didn't take the Chunin exam. Like you, this is his first time taking the exam. His teammates are last year's top Kunoichi Tenten and last year's Rookie of the Year Hyuga Neji, who is rumored to be a highly gifted prodigy like yourself. At the mention of Neji's name, a worried look appeared of Hinata's face, although no one noticed it, due to everyone listening to what Kabuto was saying. Next, Sabaku no Gaara, Gaara of the Sand Waterfall, spoke Kabuto, and he got another card and channeled chakra into it. Now he is the same age as you and has done 8 C rank missions and, this is amazing, he has done a B rank mission as a Jinan, said a surprised Kabuto. Naturally, after hearing this, the entire rookie Jinan along with Haku and her team, became very concerned. He is a foreign shinobi, as you know, and like all of you, this is his first time doing the exam, hence I've no other information about him, continued Kabuto. But there is one thing, he has returned from every single one of his mission, without as much as a scratch. After hearing this, everyone's concern about the red-headed boy grew. He did a B-rank mission as a Jinan and came back from it unharmed? Spoke Shikamaru with surprise, as he had trouble believing what he'd heard. Crap, I knew this guy would be trouble, but not this much, thought Naruto with frown, where he was not alone, as many of the others like Haku and Sasuke also had frowns. Now the Kumo Nins, continued Kabuto as he channeled more chakra into the card, where a profile and picture of Yugito appeared. Ni Yugito, she is about 2 years older than you and like Gaara, Lee and the rest of you, this is her first time doing the exam. She gained quite a bit of attention for herself, 2 years ago, when she first became a Jinan, where she graduated top of her class as Rookie of the Year and top Kunoichi. Her skill level is unknown but is believed to be very high. She is on one of only 2 4-man teams, the other being you, explained Kabuto, where he looked at the members of Team 7. Her teammates are Kairu, Amoe and Samui, and they have done 7 D rank missions, 20 C rank missions and, oh my god, stated Kabuto with surprise again and gaining everyone's full attention. Shion has done 5 B rank missions and 2 A rank missions. At hearing this, there were several more gasps of shock heard from the rookie Jinan, as they were naturally all shocked. She could be trouble, thought Haku, as she looked at Yugito's picture on Kabuto's card. Damn, I knew Yugito-chan and the others had gotten stronger since we last met, but I didn't think she had become this strong, to be able to do 2 A rank missions? Thought Naruto with surprise. Sasuke of course frowned even more, when he heard this, as it was quite possible that Yugito was even stronger than Gaara. This is getting ridiculous, what kind of monsters are in this exam? Muttered Shikamaru. After finishing, with Yugito, Kabuto then went channeled chakra to his last card, which had Samui's profile, which didn't tell much about her or her skill level. As like with Gaara and Yugito, the information was fairly limited, although it did state that Samui was highly skilled, where in her class she was second only to Yugito. The only other thing worth mentioning was that she did the same number missions as Yugito, which was of no surprise since they were on the same team. But it still proved that she was a highly skilled shinobi, since she did accomplish them with Yugito, along with the others. Once Kabuto had finished telling about Samui, Kiba decided to speak up and ask Kabuto something. What have you got on Senju Naruto? At the mention of Naruto's name, the entire room went dead silent, where every eye was on the rookie 10 and the 3 Kiri Nins. Damn you, Kiba, thought Naruto as he cursed Kiba for attracting so much attention on him, since he could feel all eyes were on him. Well, let's see, said Kabuto as he took out another card and channeled chakra into it, showing a profile and picture of Naruto on it. Senju Naruto, son of the famed Konoha no name Kuji Tsunade Haim, Konoha's slug princess Tsunade, who is also a member of the Densetsu no Sannin, the legendary 3 ninjas. Also is the direct descendant of the Shadaime Hokage and Nidaime Hokage and sole heir to the Senju clan. He has done 22 D rank missions and 2 C rank missions. He is the apprentice of Uzumaki Kushina, better well known as Barati Shinku no Ikari, and another Jonin sensei, whose identity is classified. But even though he is not on an official team, he has been allowed to work on joint missions with teams 7, 8 and 10. His skill level and ability are also classified by order of the Sandaime Hokage himself, hence are unknown. He is rumored though to be highly skilled in taijutsu, kenjutsu, and medical ninjutsu. He is also rumored to, oh my, have been trained by both his mother Tsunade and her former teammate Jiraiya the Gamma Sennin, Toad Sage and Quat. Upon Kabuto saying this, the entire room was so quiet that a person could hear a pin drop, where all eyes were on Naruto. Many of course were not surprised that Naruto was trained by Tsunade, as she was his mother after all. But the fact that he was also trained by Jiraiya the famed Gamma Sennin, the strongest of the Densetsu no Sannin, was shocking to say the least, since it meant that Naruto was trained by 2 members of the Densetsu no Sannin. Sasuke, Sakura and Sai were of course not surprised by this revelation, as they already knew this, as did Yugito and her team. Everyone else though was shocked at the news. Naruto-kun, is this true? Were you also trained by Jiraiya the Toad Sage? Asked Haku, as like everyone else she was stunned by the news. Her teammate Chojuro took the news especially bad, since he was seriously doubting his chances of beating someone who was trained by 2 members of the Densetsu no Sannin. Sighing heavily with frustration, Naruto knew this would put a large target on his head, where he silently glared at Kabuto, who Naruto could have swore he saw smirking for a split second, and Kiba, who was wide-eyed in shock at the news. After which he replied to Haku's question with a simply nod confirming the news. Hi, he is training me, since he is also my godfather. Shit, we're in serious trouble, thought Kankuro, where he began to understand why Naruto was so strong. Not good, thought Tamari, where her worries only grew when she saw a sadistic grin appear on her younger brother's face. Yes, mother, his blood will be excellent, he will prove worthy prey and prove my existence to the world, thought Gaara, since he could barely contain his sadistic joy of having the chance to face and kill someone that is being trained by 2 members of the Densetsu no Sannin. It seems he may indeed prove worthy after all, thought Neji, and he continued to look at Naruto with his cold calculating stare. Yes, this proves that my Naruto-kun is better than your Sasuke, Sakura, cried Ino inside her mind. With the Ame Nins not far away from the rookie Jinan, 3 Ame Jinan, who separated themselves from the other Jinan from Ame, stared silently at the rookie Jinan, or to be more precise, they were staring at Naruto. So that is Senju, Naruto spoke, the leader of the group, who wore a hooded cloak, just like the other 2 members of the team, covering their appearance, where only their lower faces could be seen. Do you believe we should take him out? Asked one of Ame Jinan. Not yet, replied the leader of the group. Why not? You heard what that Konoha Jinan said, he has been trained by 2 members of the Sannin, surely that makes him a threat, and Hanzo-sama's orders are T, spoke the other Ame Jinan, but was interrupted by the leader before he could finish. Do not speak to me on what his orders are, rounded the group leader in a harsh whisper, so not to attract attention. I am well aware of them, as it was I who was given the mission of eliminating Senju Naruto should he be a threat on our village. So why not eliminate him now, when we have the chance, since given what we've heard he is clearly a threat, or at the very least could become one very soon, said the first Ame Jinan. Because the exam has not started yet, where if we attack him now, his teammates may come to his aid. Not to mention if we did indeed succeed in killing him now, Konoha will know that our village specifically targeted him, and could declare war on us for doing so, explained the team leader. No, it is better to wait until the time is right. Besides, I want to know what his abilities are, so that we know what he's capable of and what we're up against when we do attack him. At this the other 2 Ames just nodded and continued to observe Naruto and the other rookie Jinan. With Naruto and the others, after everyone had gotten over the shock that Naruto had been trained by both his mother and Jiraiya, Kabuto then went on to explain how the top Jinan from Konoha, Kiri, Kumo, Suna, Ame, Kuza, Taki, Getsu and a small recently new shinobi village Oto were here. After hearing this, some of the others like Hinata, were beginning to doubt their chances in the exam. Seeing that Hinata was losing confidence in herself, Naruto placed his hand on the young girl's shoulder. Hey, don't worry Hinata-chan, you do great in this exam, I know it. Upon hearing this and how Naruto was touching her, the young Hyuga girl blushed brightly and thanked Naruto for his kind words and for believing in her. But it was after Hinata thanked him, that Naruto noticed several blurs out of the corner of his eye, which were heading for them. Discreetly taking out several senbone needles, Naruto readied himself on the chance that they were coming after him. He was of course not the only one, as Haku had also seen the blurs coming, and like Naruto she discreetly took out several senbone needles and prepared to defend herself, although those beliefs quickly diminished, where one of the attackers, a young boy with spiky black hair, jumped up into the air and threw 2 kunai at his real target, Kabuto, who quickly jumped backwards to avoid them. After seeing that the attacker's target was Kabuto, both Haku and Naruto quickly placed their senbone needles away. Normally Naruto would have helped a fellow Konoha nin when he was being attacked by someone, but the fact was that Naruto did not like Kabuto, especially since he made him, Naruto, a target to everyone in the room. But even still, that would normally not be enough for Naruto to not help him. The other reasons why Naruto didn't intervene was because he didn't want to draw any more attention on himself than there was already on him. There was also the fact that there was something off about Kabuto. He didn't know what it was just a gut feeling, which told him not to trust Kabuto. After Kabuto avoided the first attack, another of the attackers appeared right in front of Kabuto. This attacker was another young boy, who had gauze covering most of his face, except for his left eye. When the boy appeared, those watching immediately realized that the ones that were attacking Kabuto were from Otogakur, hidden sound. When the gauze-wearing boy appeared in front of Kabuto, he swung his fist to hit Kabuto, who took a step back to avoid the punch. But after Kabuto avoided the punch, his glasses suddenly shattered into pieces. What's going on? You definitely avoided that punch, why did your glasses break? Spoke Sasuke as he stood forward, with an annoyed and confused expression on his face. This question was of course shared by many of the others, who were watching the incident. But just when everyone thought that was it, Kabuto fell to his knees and threw up, which received many more worried and confused looks from all the different Jinans. It seems that you're not as good as I thought you would be, given that you are a veteran of the Chunin exam, spoke the gauze-wearing boy named Dosu, who stood in front of Kabuto with the rest of his team. Write this in your card. The 3 from Otogakure will definitely make Chunin, spoke the black spiky-haired boy named Zaku. As Zaku said this, many of the others in the room stared at Dosu and his teammates, with some curiosity over how Dosu took Kabuto out, after he dodged Dosu's punch. Bakas, thought Naruto, as she simply stared at Dosu. They're clearly amateurs trying to make names for themselves. They should have left well enough alone and let people underestimate them, since it gives them an extra advantage. But instead, like fools, they draw attention to themselves by attacking someone and then showed off one of their techniques in front of everyone, just because of a simple comment. Now people will be on the watch for them, especially the guy in the bandages and that trick he used to take Kabuto down. It was after Naruto thought this, that a large puff of smoke appeared in the front of the room, where a male voice shouted out, "Quiet it down, you punks." Once the smoke appeared, an intimidating man wearing a long black trench coat appeared with a large group of Konoha examiners behind him. "My name is Morini Aviki and I'll be your first examiner in this test of the Chunin exam, so I suggest you all shut up and listen," spoke the man named Aviki. The Jonin waiting lounge. After seeing off their teams to the Chunin exam, Jonin senseis Sarutobi Asuma and Yae Kurenai went off to have lunch together, after which they then went to the Jonin waiting lounge. When they entered the room, they saw several Jonin senseis. Many of them they knew, others they did not, as they were from various different villages. After looking around, they saw Kakashi, Kushina and Yamato together, where the two of them decided to go to them. As they got closer, they saw that Kakashi was reading his Icha book as normal. Yamato was also reading a book, but unlike Kakashi, his book was The Legend of the Gutsy Ninja, which both Naruto and Kushina had recommended to Yamato to read. Kushina on the other hand was silently staring at something at the other end of the room. "Hey guys, been a while," greeted Asuma, as he and Kurenai walked up the 3 and sat next to them. "Yo," greeted Kakashi with a wave, as he looked up at them, before going back to read his book. Yamato of course greeted them both respectfully, after which he went back to reading his book. Kushina replied with a simple hey before going back to staring at the other end of the room. Deciding to see what Kushina was looking at, both of them turned to see who Kushina was staring at. When they turned, they saw that Kushina was staring at a tall dark-skinned muscular man, with a Kumo forehead protector, sunglasses and 7 swords on his back. The person in question was seemingly writing on a notepad book and muttering out rhymes. Upon seeing who Kushina was staring at, both Jonin senseis raised their eyebrows. "Excuse me Kushina-san, but why are you staring at that man?" asked Kurenai curiously. "Yay Kushina, don't tell me you're actually into that guy?" mocked Asuma. At this remark, Kushina scoffed, "Please, I do have certain standards, beside I would never think of dating a Kumo nin." At this Asuma just nodded, while Kureani had a confused look on his face, until Asuma explained how back when she was younger, Kushina was kidnapped by Kumo, who kidnapped her so to use her unique chakra abilities that allow her to subdue Bijou. After hearing this, Kurenai nodded in understanding, before she then turned back to Kushina. "But that still does not explain why you're staring solely at him, as there are several other Kumo shinobis here. The reason why I'm watching him is because he is no ordinary Jonin. His name is Killer Bee and he is the adopted younger brother of the Yondaime Reikage as well as the Jinchuriki of the Hachibi no Kyogyu, 8-tailed giant ox." "You're kidding?" Asuma asked in shock, while Kurenai gasped. "I'm afraid it's true," spoke Yamato as he looked up from his book. "Not only that but, he is also considered by many as the perfect Jinchuriki, as unlike most, he has complete and utter control over his Bijou. Man, who would have thought that Kumo would have let one of their Jinchuriki come here with his Jinan to take the Chunin exam. They're usually paranoid when it comes to one of their Jinchurikis, normally they've them stay nearby their village as much as possible," stated Asuma. "I'm afraid it's much worse than that," spoke Kakashi, as he looked up from his book. "What do you mean?" asked Kurenai. "He means that there is a rumor we heard from our intelligence. They say that the Jinchuriki of the Hachibi no Kyogyu is also training the Jinchuriki of the Nibi no Bakoneko, 2-tailed monster cat, meaning that one of Killer Bee's students is the Jinchuriki of the Nibi no Bakoneko," said Kushina with unusual seriousness in her voice. "Ah hell," muttered Asuma, "does the Hokage know about this?" "He does," replied Yamato. "But why would Kumo risk sending both their Jinchurikis into the Chunin exam?" spoke Kurenai, as having more than one Jinchuriki in the Chunin exam was just inviting a disaster to happen. "My only guess is that it's about Naruto," replied Kushina. "Do you mean that they know that Naruto has the Kyuubi or he has Makuten ability?" asked Kurenai. "Neither, since besides us, only the Sandaime, Jiraiya, Shizune, Suand and Naruto himself know about Naruto being the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko, 9-tailed demon fox. I also do not believe that they know about Naruto having Makuten, as none of us have mentioned it to anyone. The Sandaime has also made certain that the council has kept quiet about it, so I don't think we've to worry about them," said Kushina. So then why are they sending one of their Jinchurikis into the Chunin exam? Asked Asuma. My best guess is that they sending the Nibi Jinchuriki to take Naruto out, as they fear that he may one day become as strong as Tsunade-sama or the Shodaime Hokage or the Nidaime Hokage, if not stronger than them. Hence they want to take him out before that happens, explained Kushina. But they can't. If they do that they could start a war, said Kurenai. That would be unlikely, as remember Kurenai, killing is not forbidden in the exam, so they could easily kill Naruto in the Forest of Death without incident or during the finals. As if they did kill him, they could easily just say it was an accident, where there would be nothing we could, stated Kakashi. As he had to hand it to the Raikage, this was probably the perfect way to eliminate someone like Naruto, without starting a war between Kumo and Konoha. We have to do something, stated Kurenai, as she had no wish of seeing Naruto being killed, as she had grown quite fond of the young Senju boy and found him to be a kind and caring young man. There is nothing we can do, Kurenai-san, said Yamato, who understood where Kurenai was coming from, as we cannot remove Naruto from the exam when it has already begun, at least not without good reason, like having a serious injury or something, as if we took him out of the exam, it would be a great embarrassment to Konoha. Damn, things look pretty bad for the kid, said Asuma as he puffed smoke out from his cigarette, as like Kurenai and the others he was worried about Naruto, as he had started to like the young blonde as well, especially since Naruto started teaching him his Sarashu Fu, wind slash. Well, I'm afraid it only gets worse, spoke Kushina, causing Asuma, Kakashi and Kurenai to look at her. How so, Kushina-san? Asked Kurenai. Well, it seems that Naruto knows Killer Bee and his Jinan team, or to be more precise, he is friends with them, explained Kushina, after which she then told Kakashi and the others about Naruto's meeting with Killer Bee and his team. She then further went on to explain her fears that the Kumo Jinan may use their friendship with Naruto to get close to him and get him to let his guard down and kill him. At hearing this, the three Jonin senseis frowned, as they knew that what Kushina said was indeed possible and it would not be on Kumo to try something like that, as they had done something very similar 9 years ago, when they used the peace treaty between Kumo and Konoha to have their head shinobi enter the village and try to kidnap Hyuga Hinata. It was even more possible, given the fact that Naruto was a trusting person. A fact that Naruto proved at Nami no Kuni, when he attacked Kakashi to save Zabuza's apprentice/partner Haku, who Naruto had befriended earlier on. Man, and I thought the kids had it tough before, commented Asuma. What do you mean, Asuma-san? Asked Yamato. Well, I heard that this year the first examiner is Morini Ibiki. At this, Kakashi frowned. That sadist? Well, it seems things will indeed be difficult for the kids. Sadist? What do you mean? Who is Ibiki? Asked Kurenai, as she had not heard of the man. I'm not surprised that you have not heard of him, Kurenai, since you are a rookie Jonin after all, commented Asuma. Ibiki is an expert in the human psyche, where he can easily find your smallest weakness and get inside your head and break you and make up give up. He is also the head of the torture and interrogation division, making him good at what he does. At hearing this, Kurenai became worried for her student and frowned slightly at the news. So what should we do? She asked. The only thing we can do, spoke Kushina, wait and believe that we've trained them well enough and that they can get through this test. With Naruto had the others after Ibiki and the other Chunin examiners arrived, they quickly took charge of the room, where they had everyone quickly take seats. When Naruto's name was called out, he found himself being seated next to Hinata, which of course he did not mind, although the young Hyuga girl did blush a bit at being seated next to Naruto. After everyone was seated, Ibiki began to explain the rules of the test to everyone, where much to everyone's surprise they found it to be a written exam. Ibiki also then went on to explain that cheating was strictly forbidden, where the other Chunin examiners would be watching them closely, and if they were found cheating 3 times, then they would be disqualified from the exam. Once he had explained the rules, Ibiki then handed out the exam sheets and stated that they had 1 hour to do the paper, whereupon hearing this, all the Jinan immediately began writing. When the exam started, Naruto looked over the questions and found that there were very few questions that he could understand, as many of them the questions required advanced mathematics to understand, while others could only be answered by senior Chunin and Jonin shinobis. Answering whatever questions he could, Naruto then looked around the room to see how everyone else was doing. It didn't take Naruto long to figure out that nearly everyone was cheating in the exam, as when he looked around he saw that Hinata was using her Byakugan to see through people and look at their answers. He also saw Haku, who was a few seats ahead of him, creating ice mirrors above herself and her teammates and positioning them in angles that allowed them to see the answers of other people. Seeing this, Naruto then realized that the only way he was going to pass this exam was to cheat and not get caught by the examiners. After thinking for a few minutes, Naruto finally thought of a way for him to get the answers without getting caught, where he asked Ibiki to use the bathroom. Ibiki of course nodded, but had one of the Chunin examiners accompany Naruto, so to make sure he didn't cheat. When he reached the bathroom, Naruto stated he needed to use one of the stalls. The Chunin of course checked the stall that Naruto was going to use, so to make sure that there were no communication devices or sheets with answers in the stall. Once the Chunin had finished checking the stall, Naruto went into it and locked the stall door behind him, where he then pretended to go be in the toilet. After a few minutes, Naruto then silently created a wood clone of himself, where he then had the wood clone quickly merge with the wooden wall of the bathroom. After the clone had merged with the wall, Naruto then pretended to finish up and leave the stall, where after washing his hands he and the examiner returned to the exam room. For the next few minutes Naruto pretended to do the written exam, all the while silently waiting for his clone to return to him, which was merged with the ceiling of the room and looking down on the examinees and their answers. Once the clone had gathered all the needed answers, the wood clone then fully merged with the ceiling, after which it then re-emerged from the floor underneath Naruto's desks and touched his leg, where Naruto reabsorbed the wood clone and received all the information it had gathered. When he received all of the clone's information, Naruto immediately began to write down all the answers to the questions. As he did this, he silently thanked his sensei Yamato for telling him about the unique abilities of the Moku Bunshin no Jutsu, wood clone technique. After finishing writing down that answer, Naruto then patiently waited for the 10th and final question, which was left blank, as Ibiki had explained that it would not be answered until the last few minutes of the exam. As Naruto waited, he watched several other teams being caught by Ibiki and the Chunin examiners, where they were automatically failed and sent out of the room. By the time of the last 5 minutes of the exam, about a third of the room had been emptied. When the time had come for the final question had come, Ibiki spoke. Well, now it seems that it's time for the final question, although I have to say there are more of you than I thought there would be. But still there is one thing that I did not mention earlier when I explained the rules of the test to you, that rule being that you can choose to take the 10th the final question or not. Upon hearing this, the examinees were of course surprised and slightly confused at what Ibiki was saying. Choose? What the hell do you mean by that? Asked Tamari. It's simple really. If you choose not to take the exam, your points from this exam will be reduced to 0, where both you and your teammates will automatically fail the test, explained Ibiki. Then what's the point of giving us the choice? Of course we're going to take the question, stated a Jinan from Kuza. Well, you see, there is actually more to this rule, replied Ibiki, which made the examinees more nervous. For if you do the 10th question and you get it wrong, you'll not only just fail the exam, but you'll also lose your privilege for taking the Chunin exam forever. What the hell kind of dumb as rule is that? Cried Kiba as he stood up and pointed accusingly at Ibiki. There should be those here who have taken the Chunin exam in the past. At this, Ibiki just chuckled darkly, making many of the Jinan nervous. You, I'm afraid we're unlucky, as this year I'm the one making the rules, which is why I'm giving you all the option of quitting, replied Ibiki and then continued. Those of you who are not confident in answering the final question can quit now and take the exam next year and the year after that, stated Ibiki, before chuckling darkly again. For the next few minutes, the room was filled with an intense atmosphere, caused by what Ibiki had said, where the doubts of many of the Jinan started to creep into them slowly. Soon enough, several Jinan who could no longer take the pressure raised their hands and stated that they were giving up, where they were then joined by their teammates. One by one, more and more Jinan teams left, where after a little while the number of participants of the Chunin exam had been cut down in half. Seeing that the number had now been cut in half, Ibiki decided to add just a bit more pressure to see if there were any more to be weeded out before giving out the 10th question. This is your final warning now. If any of you have any doubts in correctly answering the 10th question, I suggest you leave now. For if you don't leave and you fail to get the 10th question, you will never enter this exam again. At this, the weight and pressure of the decision that they had to make began to weigh more and more on the remaining Chunin hopefuls, who were doubting themselves more and more as they watched other participants give up. This pressure became especially hard on Hinata, who was already insecure and doubtful of herself to begin with, where after another few minutes, she could no longer take it and slowly raised her hand. I'm sorry, Kiba-kun, Shino-kun, Naruto-kun, I'm just not strong enough, thought the young Hyuga girl as she raised her hand up. Seeing what Hinata was going to do, Naruto quickly grabbed hold of Hinata's hand, stopping it before it could fully go up, while at the same time lifting his up, but then suddenly smacked his hand down onto the desk and stood up. Screw you. I'm not gonna run away like some coward, cried the young blonde. I'm taking this question, and even if I fail and remain a Jinan, it won't stop me from achieving my dream and become Hokage one day. So just give us the stupid question, as none of us are afraid. Are you certain about? As this question can affect your entire life, you still have the option to give up, no? Asked Ibiki. I told you I've no intention of giving up, and once I say something, I'll do it no matter what, replied Naruto. After hearing this, Ibiki looked around the room, since after Naruto's little speech, the frightened and uncertain looks that were on many of the faces turned to looks of confidence and determination, the direct opposite of what they were a moment ago. Even Hinata, who had been ready to give up a moment ago, drew confidence from what Naruto had said and gained the courage to take the final. Upon seeing how the atmosphere had been completely changed by Naruto's speeches, the Konoha interrogator couldn't help but smirk. So that's the Senju brat that everyone has been talking about recently. Pretty interesting kid. He completely wiped out everyone's uncertainty. 80 Jinan? Eh? More than I expect, but still, since you all seem ready to take the question, I've only one thing to say. You all pass. After hearing this, the Jinan were of course surprised and confused at what Ibiki had said. After getting over her surprise, Sakura imminently took up and spoke. Wait, what do you mean by we passed? What about the 10th question? At this Ibiki smiled. The choice to take the question was the 10th question, as there was no actually question to begin with. So what were all those other questions? Were they all just a waste? Asked Tamari, with annoyance, at how they had been all duped. No, they had a purpose as well. They were all to test you information gathering skills, explained Ibiki, where after seeing the slight confused look on some of the Jinan's faces, he went on to explain the objective and goals of the first test, and how they were all tested and how the test involved skills needed to be a successful Chunin. During the explanation, Ibiki even removed his bandana to reveal all the scars on his head that he received from being tortured, showing what you've to go through, to keep the secret of your village from its enemies. Once the explanations were finished, a round object suddenly burst through one of the windows, after which a large banner with the words "Second Examiner, Mitarashi Anko is here," appeared in front of Ibiki along with a tall violet-haired woman, who wore a tan overcoat, complete with a fitted mesh bodysuit that stretched from her neck down to her thighs along with a dark orange miniskirt. Upon her arrival, the woman named Anko cried out, "I am the second examiner Mitarashi Anko, now let's go to the next exam." After which Anko then pumped up her fist into the air and shouted out, "Follow me." At this everyone in the room just stared at her, with looks of disbelief. "You really need to learn to grasp the atmosphere," Anko stated Ibiki as he stepped out from behind the banner, with a dull look on his face, where the violet-haired woman blushed in embarrassment. Naruto of course could not believe it when he saw Anko, as the way the woman had introduced herself, with crashing through the window with the banner behind her, would be just like something a certain Sannin he knew would do. Not to mention the way she was dressed, made Naruto wonder if she had modeled herself after one of Jiraiya's female characters in his Icha Icha books, as it was definitely skimpy enough to be. At this same time, Naruto also had a nagging thought at the back of his mind, as the name Mitarashi Anko had rang a bell with him, since he was certain he had heard the name somewhere before. After getting over her embarrassment, Anko counted the number of remaining Jinan, where she found that there were 8 Jinan left. "Ibiki, you let 26 teams pass? Your test must have been too soft, or that there were quite a number of excellent Jinan this year," replied the scared head man. "Huh, well it doesn't matter," replied Anko, "as I'm going to make more than half of these teams fail the next test." Upon hearing this, many of the Jinan became nervous, especially given the sinister looking smirk that appeared on her face. It was when this look appeared on Anko's face that Naruto suddenly remembered where he had heard Anko's name before. "Now I remember her. Uro Sennin once told me about how that team Orochimaru once had a female apprentice back before he was forced to flee Konoha, she Orochimaru's former student. Now then, tomorrow, we'll be going somewhere for the second exam, so ask your Jonin sensei for the rallying point and time," spoke Anko in a serious tone, after which she then dismissed the Jinan. After being dismissed by Anko, the remaining Jinan began to walk out of the room to talk to their Jonin sensei. As Naruto was about to get up from his seat, Hinata suddenly speak. Arigato Naruto-kun." Upon hearing this, Naruto just nodded and smiled, after which he left with Sasuke and the others and met up with their senseis to find out about the next round of the Chunin exam and prepare for it. Chapter 19, Meeting the Snake, the Forest of Death. After the events of the first test, Naruto and the gang met up with their senseis and informed them that they had passed and was waiting to pass the next test. The 3 Jonin sensei were pleased to hear this, especially given who was doing the exam. Kakashi, Kushina and Yamato informed them that next exam would be held on Training Ground 44, which was better known as the Forest of Death, and that they would have to meet Anko there at 8 o'clock sharp tomorrow morning. The following morning the 4 Jinan met up again and arrived at the rendezvous point a few minutes before 8. When they arrived, they found that all the other Jinan had arrived and were waiting for Anko's arrival. As they waited, they looked at the Forest of Death, figuring that this would be where their next exam would be. "This place is creepy," said Sakura nervously, as she looked at the dark forest. Soon enough though, Anko appeared in front of everyone in a puff of smoke and then called them together to listen to what she had to say. There Anko informed the group of Jinan that they would be spending the next 5 days in the forest. Upon hearing this, many of the Jinan became nervous over having to enter the creepy forest. Naruto of course was not intimidated by the forest and just scoffed, since he had been terrified by the best, hence it would take a lot more than this to scare him. Hearing Naruto scoff and seeing that he was unafraid of what she had said, Anko decided to have a little fun with the young Senju, upon which a kunai suddenly appeared out from her sleeve and into her hand, where she threw it at Naruto with frightening speed. Seeing the glint of Anko's kunai, Naruto quickly moved his head slightly to avoid the kunai, although was unable to do it fully, where he received a shallow cut on his cheeks, which bled a little. When Naruto avoided the kunai, Anko then suddenly appeared right behind him. "Oh, I'm sorry, am I boring you?" Anko asked almost childlike, where she pressed her ample chest onto Naruto's back and wrapped her arms around Naruto. At this, Naruto just smirked. "Sadly yes, as I find such intimidating tactics rather dull and would like to get on with the exam." "Oh, confident are we? Well, you need more than just confidence to survive this exam. Since overconfident ones like you are normally the first to die, and I do so love to see nice red blood being spilled all over the place," Anko said as she leaned forward to lick the blood off Naruto's cheek, but before she could, she suddenly felt the sharp point of a kunai blade poking into her left armpit. "Well, if you like blood so much, then I'm certain you like this," Naruto stated with a smile and pressed his kunai a little harder into her armpit. "There's a vein just here that goes straight to the heart. If cut, it would bleed so fast that you wouldn't live long enough to decide how to curse me. So if you would, could you let go of me, as there are rules about examiners molesting the examinees." Naruto was gratified with the sight of the former Sanin's apprentice eyes widen in surprise, before she grinned. She was impressed with Naruto. "Humph, not bad brat, but you only wish I was molesting you. And quat," Anko replied with a saucy smirk, when she let go of Naruto. Although when she did, her shinobi senses suddenly warned her of danger from behind, where she immediately let go of Naruto, and another kunai appeared out of her sleeve into her hand. But before she could fully turn around, she saw Kushina was behind her and that he was holding her kunai with his long tongue, which Naruto found disgusting. "I believe this is yours," the Kushina said as he gave Anko back her kunai. "Why, thank you, but you shouldn't sneak up on me from behind like that," Anko said with a cheery grin. "That is, if you don't want to die young." "I apologize," the Kushina replied, though she sounded anything but sorry, as she retracted his tongue and smiled, after Anko took her kunai. "It's just that I get excited when I see blood. Also, my precious hair was cut, so I got a little bit more excited." "What's with that guy?" Naruto thought, as he got a bad feeling off the Kushina. "Well now, it seems that we have quite a few lively Jinan today," Anko commented, as she walked back in front of the group of Jinan. "Now before we start the second test you need to sign all these," Anko explained as she held up a large bunch of forms in her hand. "What are they?" a Jinan from Suna asked. "These are consent forms, which you must sign to participate in the second test," Anko replied. "But why?" asked Ino. "Simple, in this test people will die, therefore, we need your consent before we can continue, otherwise I'd be held responsible," Anko answered, where she then laughed, as if the whole thing was funny. Naturally, no one found it funny and many people became nervous at hearing how people would die in this exam. Soon enough though, everyone signed the sheets and handed Anko back the forms. Once the forms were signed, Anko went on to explain how the second test was going to work. She explained that they would all be given a scroll, where one half would be given a scroll with heaven on it and the other with earth on it. Extra scrolls would also be hidden in the forest. She also explained that to pass they would all have to make it to the tower in the center of the forest, and could only enter it when they'd both have an earth and heaven scroll and were with their entire team. Anko then went on to explain that the only way they could pass this exam was to get an opposite scroll to the one they had in 5 days, which was the time limit to the exam. She even explained that if they failed to get the scroll in the time allowed, lost a teammate or opened the scrolls before entering the tower, they would automatically fail the exam. After finishing explaining the rules of the exam, Anko then spoke up again. "Also there is one final thing, which is for the Jinan of Hatake Kakashi, Uzumaki Kushina, Yamato and Killer Bee of Kumo." Upon hearing this, Yugito, her team, along with Naruto and Team 7 listened up. "Due to the fact that your 2 squads each have 4 members in it, and in the interest of fairness to the other teams, who all only have 3 members, your squads will have to gather twice the number of scrolls and in the same amount of time as everyone else." "What?" cried Kaoru, "but that's not fair." "Well, tough, as the Hokage decided that it was the only fair thing to do, since you each have 1 extra member on your squad, and if we didn't do this, then the other squads would be complaining that it was unfair to them," Anko explained. After hearing this, Naruto frowned, for although he understood why the Sandaime did this, he still didn't like it, as now regardless of what scroll they got, he and his team would have to gather 3 other scrolls, meaning they needed 2 heaven and 2 earth scrolls to pass the exam, while everyone, minus Yugito's team, just needed 1 of each. Once all explanations were done, the Jinan teams were all secretly given their own scrolls. Naruto and Team 7 were given the heaven scroll, which was given to Sasuke to keep, after which they were assigned to Gate 12 from which to enter the forest. At exactly 1/2, the signal was given and the Jinan teams entered the forest. 3 hours later, currently a young Kuza Kunoichi with red hair and glasses was trapped with a large tree behind her and a large bear in front of her, which was ready to attack her. Said girl had been separated from the rest of her team and had been chased by the large bear for several minutes before being cornered by it. Seeing that she was trapped, the girl called out to her teammates for help, but received no answer. As the bear readied to pounce on her, the young girl ducked underneath it and tried to run away. But as she ran, she tripped over a large root and fell to the ground and hit her head, temporarily knocking her out. The bear quickly turned around, and right when it was about to kill the young girl, Sasuke suddenly appeared and delivered several powerful kicks to the bear's head, after which several ink snakes appeared and wrapped themselves around the bear and tied it up. Once the bear was subdued, Sasuke propped the girl up against a nearby tree and searched her for any scroll. "So does she have any scrolls?" Sai asked as he walked up to the Uchiha. "No," Sasuke replied. "Too bad, let's head back to Senju and the hag, maybe they had better luck," Sai responded, where Sasuke just nodded. As the two boys walked away, the young girl slowly woke up and saw two blurry figures walking away from her. Grabbing her glasses quickly, which Sasuke left next to her, the girl put them on, where just as she did, she saw the two boys jump up to the trees and jump away. But before they disappeared into the tree, the girl saw Sasuke turn back to her and smile for a brief moment, after which he and Sai left. Soon after saving the young red-headed Kuza Kunoichi, Sai and Sasuke regrouped with Naruto and Sakura. The group had broken up into pairs not long after entering the forest, after Naruto had used his Chakura no Purusu, chakra pulse, to locate some of the teams. "So did you guys have any luck?" Sasuke asked, after he and Sai rejoined with Naruto and Sakura. "Yay, we found the two teams. They were fighting each other when we got there. So we waited until one of them defeated the other and then took care of the team that won, when they were worn out. Both of them had Earth Scrolls, so now we only need one Heaven Scroll. How about you?" Naruto replied. "No luck, we only found one member of the team you located, but she didn't have a scroll on her," Sasuke answered. At this, Naruto only nodded, as it wasn't a big deal, since they already had gotten 2 scrolls and only needed one more to enter the tower. Deciding to take a quick break, the team rested for about 15 minutes, after which they decided to move on deeper into the forest, so increase their chances on meeting another team who would have a Heaven Scroll. Suddenly, a sudden massive gust of wind appeared out of nowhere, scattering the team from one another. With Anko currently happily munching on some dengo and soda, the second examiner Anko was finishing off her lunch, where she then planned to head to the tower and wait for the Jinan, who made it to the tower. But just as she had finished eating, a Chunin examiner suddenly appeared in front of her, telling her that there was an emergency. When Anko asked what the emergency was, the Chunin explained that they had found 3 bodies not too far away from the exam area and that there was something unusual about the bodies. When Anko arrived at the scene with the Chunin, one of the 2 Chunin guarding the scene spoke. "From their IDs that we found on them, we know that they were from Kusagakur, Hidden Grass, and they had signed up to be participating in the Chunin exam today. But as you can see, their faces are all gone." Anko braided while reaching up to her neck to rub the curse seal. Possibilities running through her head. "It's as if their faces were melted off," the Chunin replied. "There's no doubt, this technique is his, but why is he at the Chunin exam?" Anko thought, as her fears solidified, knowing exactly who was responsible for this. "Show me a picture of these Kuzenins, as there should be one with their application," Anko demanded, with clear urgency in her voice. Nodding quickly, the Chunin with the applications quickly handed her the photos of the Kuzenins. When Anko saw what the Jinan looked like before they lost their faces, she immediately recognized one of the dead Jinan, as the Kuza Jinan who snuck up on her earlier on, when she was explaining the rules of the second exam to the Jinan. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, Anko quickly turned around to the 3 Chunin. "Quickly, you 3 inform the Hokage of what has happened here, and tell him we need at least 2 Anbu squads mobilized and sent into the Forest of Death," said a concerned Anko. After which she then stated that she would enter the forest and try and track the intruders herself. Nodding and understanding, the 3 Chunin disappeared, where they went to inform the Sandaime. "He's returned to the village," Anko thought with a serious look on her face, after she disappeared from the scene and headed for the Forest of Death. With Naruto after being blown away by the massive wind, Naruto found himself alone in the small clearing in the forest. "Ooh, what the hell?" Naruto groaned, as he woke up in the clearing and held his head in pain, as he guessed he hit his head when he had been blown away by the gust of wind and it knocked him out for a short while. After a little time, Naruto eventually regained himself, which was none too soon, for as soon as he did, his shinobi senses kicked in and told him to move, where a massive snake appeared right above him and tried to eat him. "Shit, that was close," Naruto thought, as he landed on the ground a few feet away from the giant snake. Seeing that it had missed its prey, the giant snake lifted its head and eyed Naruto with hungry eyes, where it hissed loudly and showed its long fork-like tongue. Seeing the snake looking at him, Naruto quickly realized what the massive serpent was thinking and readied himself. After a moment or two, the giant snake struck and charged at Naruto. Seeing the snake coming at him, Naruto quickly raced forward and ducked under the snake's mouth, after which he then jumped upward and used his enhanced strength to punch the snake right in the chin, sending its head flying upward. Naruto then followed his punch with a powerful kick, which sent the giant snake backwards into a nearby tree. After hitting the tree, the snake tried to hit the still midair Naruto with its tail from the side. Seeing the snake's tail coming at him from the side, Naruto immediately created a clone and had the clone throw him away, allowing him to avoid the incoming tail, which hit the clone and destroyed it. After Naruto avoided its tail, the snake then charged forward at him in another attempt to eat him. Seeing this, Naruto decided that he had enough of the giant snake, where he took out his katana from his sheath on his back, and then started to channel his wind chakra into the tip of his blade. I better get this right, as I won't get another shot, Naruto thought, as channeled a massive amount of chakra into his sword and waited from the right moment to strike. Right when the snake was on top of him, Naruto swung his katana and cried out Idana Sarashu Fu, great wind slash. After which a massive crescent-shaped blade of wind easily twice the size of Naruto's standard Sarashu Fu, wind slash, erupted from his katana and cut the giant snake in two with no trouble, just as it was about to eat him. After cutting the giant snake in two, the blade of wind continued on and cut about halfway through one of the massive tree trunks behind the snake before finally dissipating. At the same time, after the blade of wind cut the giant snake, the snake's body puffed away, revealing that it was a summons. Once the giant snake's body puffed away, Naruto was left panting heavily. He was still not used to doing this technique, as it took a lot out of him. Naruto had created the technique during his training sessions with Asuma, who suggested that in the event of Naruto went up against something that required more power than a regular Sarashu Fu, he should have something to give him that extra boost. After a few minutes, Naruto regained himself, where he then sheathed his katana. That was no ordinary snake, it was a summon, the blonde thought, as he looked at the spot where the two halves of the giant snake were a moment ago. But what was one of them doing here? Could that Anko woman have summoned it, since she was his student after all? No, there would be no point, since there are plenty of wild and dangerous creatures here already. So why is there a snake summon here, since the only other person that could summon the snakes is, oh no. Naruto thought, upon realizing who had summoned the giant snake, along with who had created the large gust of wind that blew him away from the rest of his team. After realizing who might be here, Naruto quickly used his Chakura no Purusu to try and locate his teammates before he showed up. Unfortunately, Naruto's worst fears came to pass, where when he located Sai, Sasuke, and Sakura, he also located a massive chakra source, which was easily at the level of his mother and godfather and was currently battling his teammates. Knowing he didn't have much time, Naruto quickly started to head to where his teammates were in an attempt to try and save them. But even as he raced towards them, Naruto had a gut feeling that told him that things weren't going to end well. With Sasuke, Sai and Sakura, after the large gust of wind scattered his team, Sasuke spent several minutes trying to find them. After a while, Sasuke regrouped with both Sai and Sakura, but just when they were about to look for Naruto, they were intercepted by 3 Kuzujinan, 2 of whom left on the order of their leader, who faced Sasuke and the others, by himself. For the first few minutes, Sasuke and the others fought the Kuzujinan fiercely, but all their attacks were beaten back effortlessly, as if the Kuzujinan wasn't even trying. As the fight went on, doubt and fear grew in Sasuke. It unnerved him at how easily the Kuzujinan was beating them back, as if he wasn't even trying. As the fight went on, the Kuzujinan let loose a powerful burst of killing intent, which froze the 3 Jinan. Thankfully though, Sai was able to break free of the paralyzing effects of the killing intent, thanks to his training from Danzo. At the same time, Sasuke freed himself by stabbing himself in the leg with a kunai, where together the 2 boys grabbed hold of Sakura, and pulled her away to avoid the Kuzujinan's attack. Seeing how overwhelmed they were, Sasuke quickly offered up their 3 scrolls, stating that Kuzujinan could have whatever one he wanted, as long as he just left them alone. When the Kuzujinan heard this, he had a disappointed look on his face. He then took all 3 scrolls, where to the surprise of the 3 Jinan, he ate them, after which he stated how disappointed he was with them, and said he had no more use for them. At hearing this, Sasuke stated that they should run away, since they stood no chance against the Kuzujinan. Sai on the other hand ignored Sasuke's advice and used his Choju Giga, Super Beast's imitation picture, and created several ink lions to attack the Kuzujinan. The Kuzujinan of course easily dispatched the ink lions, where Sai then prepared to engage the Kuzujinan with his Tanto. But before he went to engage the Kuzujinan, he turned to Sasuke and said, "I always thought you were useless and dickless Uchiha, but I never thought you were ball-less as well." Sasuke of course tried to deny what Sai had said, but the point was driven even further, when even Sakura backed what Sai had said, saying that Sasuke was acting like a coward, upon which she then went to help Sai. For the next few minutes Sasuke watched as Sakura and Sai fought the Kuzujinan, but like before they were no match for the Kuzujinan, who toyed with them for a short while. Sakura was the first to be taken out, where the Kuzujinan sent her slamming into a nearby tree. Sai on the other hand lasted a bit longer, and put up a good fight, but was eventually overpowered and sent flying into another tree. But not before receiving 4 broken ribs, a dislocated shoulder and several other bruises for his trouble. After dealing with Sai and Sakura, the Kuzujinan jumped next to Sasuke and mocked him, where he asked him if he was going to abandon his teammates and run like a coward and keep his precious life. Upon hearing this, the young Uchiha had a flashback of the night that his clan was killed, where he met his brother and said, "Foolish little brother, run and cling to your precious life." After remembering this, he then remembered what both Sai and Sakura said to him. Upon remembering all of this, Sasuke realized he had indeed been acting like a coward, where he then decided wasn't going to run anymore. He then activated his Sharingan and prepared to fight. When the Kuzujinan saw this, he smiled and decided to have a little fun with Sasuke and test his abilities. For a moment or two, the two of them just stared off at one another, but once the moment ended Sasuke charged head on and engaged the Kuzujinan. For several minutes the two fought fiercely, and despite putting up a fight worthy of praise from anyone, the fight came to an abrupt end for Sasuke, where after capturing the Kuzujinan with ninja wire and pinning him against a tree, Sasuke used his Kaden, Ryuka no Jutsu, fire style, dragon fire technique, in attempt to kill the Kuzujinan. Sadly though, when the fire died down, the Kuzujinan broke free of Sasuke's ninja wire, and used a strange technique to paralyze Sasuke, along with Sakura and Sai, so to make sure that they couldn't interfere. After which he walked forward a bit, revealing his face, showing it had all but melted from the flames, although a slight opening in his left eye, showing that there was another face underneath, as if the face on the surface was just a mask and the Kuzujinan true face was underneath. When Sasuke looked into the opening in the melted face, he saw amber eyes with slits as pupils and purple markings around the eyes. Also as well, the Kuzujinan forehead protector changed from the symbol of Kusagakur to Otogakur, hidden sound. Such mastery of the Sharingan at so young an age, you're a true Uchiha after all. The mysterious Jinan stated, where his voice changed to a different and much older person's. Yes, you may do nicely after all. As the mysterious Oto Jinan watched Sasuke try and break free of his paralyzing technique, he smirked in amusement. You're indeed his brother. If anything, your eyes are even keener than your brother Itachi's. Who the hell are you? How do you know Itachi? What do you want? Sasuke asked angrily, as he glared at the mysterious Jinan in anger. Who I am is unimportant, and as to what I want, well, that'll have to wait until we met again, which won't happen unless you finish this exam with one of the top scores. But still, you must first pass another test. You must defeat the Jinan of Otogakur, who are under my command. I don't care what kind of twisted game you're playing, but I've no interest in being part of it, Sasuke yelled angrily, and he continued to try and break free. Oh, you will eventually, Sasuke-kun, I promise you that. And quat. The disguised Oto Jinan replied, after which his neck extended to an inhuman length and flew towards Sasuke and bit him right on the left side of his neck. Sasuke-kun, no, cried Sakura, as she saw the disguised shinobi bite Sasuke like some kind of vampire, where she tried to go over to him and help, but couldn't move. After a moment or two, the mysterious shinobi let go of Sasuke and retracted his neck, after which 3 tomos appeared on Sasuke's neck, near where the mysterious shinobi bit him. As soon as the tomos appeared on Sasuke's neck, the young Uchiha held his neck in pain. What did you do to Sasuke-kun? Sakura asked, as she saw her teammate fall to his knees in pain. Oh, I just gave him a little parting gift, as a reward for doing so well against me, the mysterious Jinan replied. Very soon Sasuke-kun will seek me out and desire my power, but for now I will take my leave, as I've another appointment with another member of your team. You mean Naruto? Sai stated, where the mysterious Jinan just smiled and nodded. Correct, as like Sasuke-kun, I am also interested in Naruto-kun, so if you do not mind I will. The disguised Otonin said, but before he could finish, he heard the sound of something hard hitting wood. When he looked down, he saw a kunai stuck onto the large branch he was standing on. At the same time, he also noticed that there was an exploding note tied to the end of it, where it lit up and exploded. After the note exploded, there was a large cloud of smoke, where the mysterious Jinan jumped out of, revealing that he was unharmed. But as soon as he did, he was suddenly sent flying down to the ground, hard, after a sudden kick to the face. It was after this happened, that Sai and Sakura found that they could move again, where they then looked up to the person who had attacked their mysterious enemy. When they looked, they saw that the person was standing on a large branch on another large tree, looking down at the bush-covered area, which he sent the mysterious assailant into. Naruto. Sakura thought when she saw him. Senju. The injured Sai thought at the same time. If you want me so bad, then here I am and you better be ready for a major beatdown, as I'm in a bad mood right now, Naruto said angrily, with a seriousness that neither Sai nor Sakura had seen or heard from him before. Sakura, Sai, are you guys okay? Naruto asked, as he turned to Sakura and then looked at the injured Sai and Sasuke, who fell unconscious after the mysterious shinobi bit him. I'm fine, but Sai is hurt and that guy did something to Sasuke-kun, Sakura answered, where she looked over to her injured crush. Upon hearing this, Naruto looked at the unconscious Sasuke and frowned, not liking what he heard. Sakura, Sai, listen to me, you guys take Sasuke and get out of here, while I hold this guy off. And quad. Naruto, you can't be serious. Look at what he did to us. You don't stand chance by yourself, spoke Sakura. Maybe not, but as of right now my chances of surviving alone are better than with you guys being here. Since you're both too injured to fight or defend yourselves, where that guy could use you as shields or as hostages, Naruto replied. Although when Naruto said this, he and the others suddenly heard the dark chuckling of the mysterious shinobi echo throughout the forest, after which the mysterious shinobi emerged out of the tree in front of Naruto. Ku, so kind of you to come and meet me here, Naruto-kun. You saved me the trouble of having to go look for you. Although I must say, I am surprised to see you. I thought my little pet would have kept you occupied for a little longer. I'm afraid he had to split, not long after I met up with him, Naruto replied. But still, let's cut the charade and show your real face, Orochimaru. At hearing this, the mysterious Genin smiled, after which he pulled off the melted face, revealing his real face. Ku, very good, Naruto-kun, but how did you know it me? The giant snake was kind of a giveaway, since you're only one of two people that have the ability to summon snakes and you're clearly not the other, Naruto retorted. At hearing this, Orochimaru just smiled in amusement again. Very good, Naruto-kun, so I assume that your mother has told you all about me. Unfortunately, so as Naruto and Orochimaru talked amongst themselves, both Sakura and Sai were reeling from the shock that the mysterious shinobi that they had been fighting was the infamous Orochimaru, one of Konoha's most notorious and feared nuke nins, and was formerly of the Densetsu no Sannin, legendary three ninjas, just like Naruto's mother Tsunade and his godfather Jiraiya. He's Orochimaru? Sakura thought with fear, as she finally realized what they were up against and why they had been so easily defeated. This is not good. We stand no chance against someone like him. We need to leave, and Danzo-sama needs to be informed of this, Sai thought, as he looked from Naruto and Orochimaru to the unconscious Sasuke, after which he then slammed his dislocated shoulder into the trunk of the tree, which pushed his arm back into its socket. As soon as his arm was back in place, Sai grunted in pain from doing it and then jumped over to Sakura. Ku. I must say, Naruto-kun, it's so wonderful to meet you again, as you've no idea how long I've wanted to meet you, face to face, Orochimaru said, with sinister glee. What do you mean by again? A confused Naruto asked, as he would obviously remember meeting Orochimaru. It was then, as he tried to understand what Orochimaru was talking about, that it suddenly hit him. You were the master that Kajiko was talking about. You were the one that sent him and his team after me, and took over his body after I defeated him. Naruto accused, as he remembered the foul dark chakra that he was sensing from Orochimaru, as well as his narrow yellow eyes. Upon hearing this, Sakura grew confused as she wondered what Naruto was talking about. Sai, on the other hand, frowned slightly. He knew what Naruto was talking about, since he had heard from Danzo about that mission, where Naruto was attacked by a group of unknown shinobi, who were under the command of an unknown master, who was after Naruto. So it was Orochimaru who sent those shinobi after Senju, the root agent thought, as things were starting to make sense now. I'm pleased that you remember me, Naruto-kun, Kukaku the chuckling snake Sennin replied. At this, Naruto just narrowed his eyes further. He knew that he stood little to no chance in beating Orochimaru, but he knew that he had no choice but to fight him, seeing as he was after him, for some reason. Sakura, Sai, take Sasuke and get out of here, Naruto shouted. Naruto, you can't be serious. You can't beat him. He's one of the Sannin. He's too strong even for you, cried Sakura. I know I can't beat him, but I can at least hold him off long enough to buy you guys some time to escape. Now get out of here, Naruto said forcefully, as he didn't know how long more it would be before Orochimaru decided to attack. Nor did he know whether Orochimaru would attack his teammates or not. The only thing he knew for certain was that the snake Sannin was after him, and if tried to run with Sakura and the others, Orochimaru would chase after them. Haruno, you heard what he said. We need to leave, now, spoke Sai. But what, Abu? Spoke Sakura, but was stopped by Sai. Senju should be fine, you know how strong he is, Beside, Orochimaru doesn't want us dead, since if he did, we would already be dead. He clearly wants Senju for something, but if we stay here, we'll distract him from focusing on the fight, which is something he can't afford when going against one of the Sannin. Also, if we stay here, we'll just get caught in the crossfire, stated Sai. When Sai finished, Sakura could not think of any argument, as she knew what Sai was saying was true. But even still, that did not mean she liked it, for although Naruto and her did not get along, it didn't mean that she wanted him to die. After a moment or two, Sakura then steeled herself, where together with Sai the two of them jumped over to where Sasuke lay and then quickly picked him up. But before they jumped off, Sakura turned her head to look at Naruto and cried out to him, "Don't die, Naruto. We still need you to pass the exam." At this, Naruto just smirked, knowing what Sakura really meant. "Don't worry, Sakura, I've no plans on dying anytime soon. Besides, if I did die, Ka-chan would never forgive me." At this, Sakura just nodded, after which she and Sai jumped away, while carrying Sasuke. After seeing Sai and Sakura jump away with Sasuke, Orochimaru smirked with amusement. "How noble, sacrificing yourself to save your comrades. It seems that Sarutobi-sensei's teaching have been passed on to you." "Cut the crap, Orochimaru, I am in no mood for chit-chat. Are you here to fight me or not?" Naruto retorted. Orochimaru of course just smirked at this. My, it seems that you're just as impatient as your mother, but still, you're correct, as I think it is indeed time that we get started, and I suggest that you not hold back. For if you disappoint me, I'll have to kill you, and that would indeed be a shame. Naruto of course did not respond this, although he did frown slightly, as he knew that he couldn't hold back against Orochimaru and would have to give him everything he had, if he wanted to survive. Naruto Shippuden OST, Emergence of Talents. For a few moments Naruto and Orochimaru just stared at one another. Soon after though, Naruto drew his katana from his back and took a kenjutsu fighting stance. Orochimaru of course responded by taking up his own fighting stance, all the while maintaining his smirk, as if this was nothing more than a game to him. After staring at one another for another moment or two, Orochimaru spoke, "Come Naruto-kun, show me how much you've learned from my former teammates." "With pleasure," replied Naruto with a slight growl, after which he charged straight at Orochimaru, who in turn raced towards Naruto. Within just a few seconds Orochimaru and Naruto crossed the distance between them, and began their battle. For the first few minutes of the battle, Naruto tried to slash at Orochimaru with his katana, but each and every time he tried to cut him, Orochimaru would avoid the blonde slashes by mere inches with such ease, that it was as if Naruto movements were slow to him. "Come now, Naruto, I know that he can do much better than this," mocked Orochimaru, as he continued to avoid Naruto's attacks. Upon hearing this, Naruto frowned slightly with anger, but quickly focused himself and decided to change tactics, where he jumped back a bit and then channeled his wind chakra into his katana and swung it, as he cried out Sarashu Fu, wind slash. Seeing the crescent shape of wind coming at him, Orochimaru quickly jumped out of the way of the fast-moving attack, where it made a large and deep slash mark on the large tree behind him. But when Orochimaru jumped away to avoid Naruto's Sarashu Fu, he immediately found Naruto directly above, falling down towards him with his katana, which was enhanced with the Hien no Jutsu, flying swallow technique, swinging downward and splitting Orochimaru's head in two. But just when Naruto thought he had won, Orochimaru turned into mud, revealing that the elder man had replaced himself with a Doton Cage Bunshine, Earth-style, Shadow Clone. My, that was certainly close. I cannot afford to take you too lightly, now can I, Naruto-kun?" Orochimaru said from an unknown location, with a slight chuckle. Upon hearing this, Naruto silently cursed himself for thinking he could kill Orochimaru so easily. "Although I must say, I am surprised at how skilled you are at using your wind affinity. Not many shinobi your age can use an advanced chakra flow technique like the Hien no Jutsu, let alone use the wind technique that you just used against me," continued Orochimaru from his hidden location. "Well, if you like that, I've got plenty more," Naruto replied, as he kept his guard up, waiting for Orochimaru's next attack. "I would be disappointed with anything less, Naruto-kun," Orochimaru said, where he suddenly appeared right behind Naruto, surprising the young Senju, who quickly spun around to face the snake Sennin, but was punched in the stomach just as he spun halfway around, causing him to double over and drop his katana, which fell to the ground below. The punch was followed by a strong kick to Naruto's side, which sent the young blonde falling to the ground. Naruto quickly recovered from his hit, where he took out a kunai with some ninja wire tied to it and threw it towards a thick tree branch nearby, where the kunai and wire wrapped themselves around the branch and allowed Naruto to swing safely over to another tree nearby. After landing on the branch of the tree that he swung to, Naruto did several quick hand seals and activated his Chakura no Mesu, chakra scalpels. Seeing where Naruto had landed, Orochimaru quickly jumped over to the branch where Naruto was, who then charged towards the former Sannin, and tried to strike at him with his Chakura no Mesu. Naturally Orochimaru avoided the strike, as well as the others that followed it. But after avoiding another one of Naruto's strikes with his Chakura no Mesu, Orochimaru found himself on the defensive, as Naruto did a mid-air spin kick and attempted to kick the Sannin in the side of the head, forcing the Sannin to raise his left arm up to block the kick. This was of course what Naruto wanted, as the moment that Orochimaru raised his arm up, to block his kick, Naruto grabbed the arm and severed the tendons on it, making the arm worthless. After which Naruto brought his other leg up and this time kicked the former Konoha nin on the side of the head, making him fall off the branch. Orochimaru of course quickly recovered and he did a mid-air flip, where he landed on another nearby branch. But when he did, Naruto immediately fired his wrist-mounted senbone launcher on his left arm. Seeing the senbone needles coming at him, Orochimaru quickly sidestepped most of the needles, but just when the last was about to hit him straight in the head, he caught the needle, after which he then brought the needle up to his nose and smelled it. "Ah, poison, it seems that your mother has indeed trained you well," Orochimaru said with a sinister smile. "The boy is indeed skilled. I don't think I've seen anyone other than Kabuto use Chakura no Mesu in combat as well as he can. And given a few more years, I'm sure he could even rival Kabuto's skill. But still, I'm certain Naruto hasn't shown me everything that he can do." After catching the needle, Orochimaru threw it away and then started to move his left arm, as thanks to the altercations that he had done to his body he could easily recover from such injuries. After seeing Orochimaru avoid his needles and recover from his earlier attack, Naruto released the Fuinjutsu, Shishiyamamai Zukshiru, sealing technique, 4 limbs waiting seal, on his clothing. When Orochimaru saw this, he got an interesting look, as he was intrigued that Naruto had weighing seals on his clothing. Upon deactivating the seals on his clothing, Naruto got into a loose fighting stance and charged at the Snake Sennin intending to take on him in a taijutsu battle. Seeing what Naruto was doing, Orochimaru smirked again, as the idea of fighting Naruto with taijutsu interested him. When Naruto charged at Orochimaru, he brought up his right arm in attempt to deliver a sharp strike to the side of Orochimaru's head. Orochimaru of course quickly brought up his right hand and caught Naruto's elbow. Not to be deterred, Naruto immediately brought up his left knee and delivered a sharp strike to Orochimaru's chin, which caught the Snake Sennin by surprise and caused him to fall backwards a bit. But he stayed on his feet and quickly regained his balance, and was just able to raise his right arm up in time to block a powerful spinning back kick from Naruto, who cried out Uzu Hondo, whirling kick. But what caught Orochimaru off guard was the speed and strength of the kick, as he had barely been able to block the kick and it had been so strong that it forced him off the tree branch and down to the ground. Even then when he landed back on the ground his arm was still slightly numb from the strength of kick, but despite the numbness he quickly brushed it off and smiled, as if he was having the time of his life. Naruto quickly followed after Orochimaru and re-engaged him. For the next few minutes Orochimaru remained of the defensive, blocking and avoiding Naruto's attack. This was not because Orochimaru was having a hard time with Naruto, but because he was intrigued with whatever fighting style Naruto was using and was interested in how well he could use it, as he had not seen a style like this before, since not only did it use speed and power and agility, but has used other parts of Naruto body, where he used not just kicks and punches, but also elbow strike and knee kicks. Soon enough though, Orochimaru had seen enough and could tell that whatever style Naruto was using he was still developing it. He then blocked a left elbow strike and kicked Naruto in the side, which sent the young Senju heir back a bit. Naruto of course recovered quickly and charged at Orochimaru and tried to deliver a left punch to the side, which Orochimaru easily avoided by moving his head. After which Orochimaru tried to deliver his own punch to Naruto with his right fist, which Naruto luckily ducked under, where he then tried a leg sweep and caused the former Sannin to fall on his back. Sadly Orochimaru avoided the leg sweep by jumping up into the air and flipping over Naruto, who spun around to face the Snake Sannin, only to be kicked in the stomach and sent flying. "Come now, Naruto-kun, don't disappoint me, as I know you can do much more than just this," spoke Orochimaru, as he saw Naruto struggle to get up. But when Orochimaru started to walk over, he found it difficult to move his right leg, the leg he kicked Naruto with. When he looked down, he noticed a small sticky note on his foot and on the note was a weight seal, much like the ones Naruto had on his clothes for training. When he saw the seal, Orochimaru quickly realized that Naruto must have placed the note on his foot when he kicked him. At the same time, when Orochimaru noticed the seal, Naruto quickly got back on his feet, and charged straight at Orochimaru, as he'd been faking having trouble getting up and was waiting for the right moment to strike. Within seconds of getting back up on his feet, Naruto crossed the distance between him and the Snake Sennin and raised his fist, while at the same time channeling a large amount of chakra to his fist, which he slammed right into Orochimaru's face, who could not avoid the punch in time, due to the weight seal on his leg slowing him down. After being punched in the face by Naruto, Orochimaru was sent flying all the way across the large clearing that they were fighting in, and smashed right into a large tree, creating a large dent in it. And Naruto Shippuden OST, emergence of talent. So how was that, bastard? Replied Naruto, as he panted slightly, as was certain he had done some major damage to Orochimaru, since he had put as much power as he could in the punch. But before Naruto could enjoy his victory any longer, he suddenly heard a familiar chuckle from the cloud of dust that formed after Orochimaru smashed into the large tree. Kukukukuku, very well done Naruto-kun, well done indeed, you're clearly your mother's son and she has obviously been teaching you not only her medical ninjutsu, but also how to use her monstrous strength, said Orochimaru, as he stepped out of the dust cloud, with two dislocated shoulders and his head bent sideways in an unnatural way. When Naruto saw this, he was of course freaked out at the sight. He became even more freaked out when he saw Orochimaru fix his arms back into place and then fixed his head back into position. This guy isn't human. I hit him right in the face with everything I got and he doesn't have a mark on him. Your strength is indeed impressive Naruto-kun, but you're not yet at the level of your mother, the former Sannin said, with his usual smirk, which greatly irritated Naruto, where he then charged again at the former Sannin. For the next few minutes Orochimaru spent his time avoiding Naruto punches and kicks, as he knew that although Naruto's strength was great, it counted for nothing if he couldn't hit his target. After several minutes of Orochimaru avoiding Naruto attacks, much of the clearing that they were fighting in was destroyed, where it was filled with small craters and large chunks of the nearby trees smashed to bits. Seeing that he was getting nowhere with this, Naruto decided to up the ante a bit, where he did a single hand seal, and cried out Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, multiple shadow clone technique. After which over 100 Naruto clones appeared and surrounded Orochimaru. Naturally the former Sannin was not the least bit worried when he saw all the clones and just smiled, as all this did was make the game more interesting. After surrounding the snake Sennin, Naruto and his clones unleashed a barrage of shuriken at Orochimaru from all sides, where in a feat of unbelievable skills and ability, Orochimaru dodged all the incoming shuriken, but what Orochimaru didn't know was that several of the shuriken had ninja wire around them, which wrapped around the elder man, after which several of the Naruto clones attacked Orochimaru from multiple different directions. But when the clones hit Orochimaru, he turned into a wooden log, revealing that Orochimaru had replaced himself with a wooden log that had an exploding note on it, which exploded and destroyed the clones when they hit it. After seeing that Orochimaru had replaced himself, Naruto immediately used his Chakura no Purusu to locate his position. Once he located his position, Naruto then had his clones fire a volley of kunai towards the former Konoha nin, who was hiding up in a nearby tree branch. Orochimaru was of course surprised that Naruto found him so fast, but quickly got over it and avoided the volley of kunai by jumping away. When he jumped away to avoid the kunai and hung in mid-air, 6 Naruto clones jumped up into the air and did some quick hand seals. 3 of them cried out Suten, Teppodama, water style, gunshot, shooting out 3 large balls of water, while the other 3 cried out Dodan, Dodan, earth style, mud bomb, and shot out 3 large balls of mud. Naturally after seeing Naruto's clones use an earth ninjutsu, Orochimaru was surprised that Naruto had 3 elemental affinities, knowing how exceedingly rare it was for someone without an elemental bloodline to have more than one affinity. But as surprised as he was, Orochimaru quickly got over it and used his Sinayashu, hidden shadow snake hands, to eject several snakes from his wrist and intercept the attacks, after which the snakes then continued flying on towards the 6 clones and bite them in the necks, causing the clones to poof away. After destroying the clones, Orochimaru landed back on the ground, where he immediately came under attack by several of Naruto's clones, who were using their superhuman strength. For the next few minutes the Naruto clones fought Orochimaru in a fierce hand-to-hand battle, but despite their great numbers and their immense strength, Orochimaru was decimating the small clone army without too much trouble, thanks to his superior skill and fighting abilities. As the battle continued on, one of Naruto's clones did some hand seals and cried out Dodan, Ritsudo Tensho, earth style, tearing earth turning palm. Upon which the surrounding ground around Orochimaru and the remaining Naruto clones that he was fighting against, began to spiral inward on itself, drawing Orochimaru and the clones he was fighting against underground in an attempt to crush Orochimaru under the earth. Unfortunately Orochimaru was able to avoid being crushed by jumping up into the air, before he could be drawn underground along with the clones he had been fighting against, causing them to disappear after being crushed. When Orochimaru landed back on the ground, he quickly engaged the remaining Naruto clones and dispatched them without much trouble. But upon destroying the last of Naruto clones, Orochimaru lost sight of the real Naruto, who had disappeared when he was fighting with the clones. After realizing that Naruto was nowhere in sight, Orochimaru began to look around for the blonde Senju. Come out wherever you are Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said in a childlike tone, as he slowly walked around the trees, knowing that Naruto couldn't have gotten very far. Orochimaru of course did not have to wait long, as Naruto suddenly appeared out from one of the trees with a kunai in hand and attempted to stab Orochimaru with it. Seeing this, Orochimaru stretched his hand out and used his Senju, where several snakes ejected from his wrist and wrapped themselves around Naruto and held him in midair. But as soon as this happened, Naruto exploded into a shower of flower petals which flew into the air and began to cover Orochimaru's entire body in an attempt to smoother him. Realizing what was happening, Orochimaru slowly moved his hands in an attempt to form a hand seal. But due to his body being covered in the flower petals, he found it difficult. But despite the difficulty he was able to form a hand seals and cried out Kai. Where the flower petals around his body faded away, revealing they were a genjutsu. An admirable attempt, Naruto-kun. But sadly such things won't work on me, spoke Orochimaru out loud, knowing that he was watching from somewhere. How about this then? Naruto replied from unknown location, where the next thing Orochimaru knew, a tree appeared out of the ground behind Orochimaru and coiled around Orochimaru's body, binding him and preventing him from moving. After which Naruto emerged out of the tree with a kunai in hand and went to stab the snake Sannin. But before Naruto could deliver the final blow, Orochimaru let loose a strong surge of chakra to overpower and broke Naruto's Magen, Jubaku Satsu, demonic illusion, tree binding death. After which Orochimaru spun around and hit Naruto in the side of the head, who then puffed away, revealing that he was a shadow clone. Seeing that the Naruto he hit was just another shadow clone, the amused Orochimaru then jumped up to a large tree and continued his search for Naruto. As he searched for Naruto, Orochimaru found himself being wrapped up in vines that appeared out of the tree branches. Despite being wrapped up in the vines, Orochimaru remained perfectly calm, as he knew that it was just another genjutsu and broke out of it without much difficulty. See, come now Naruto-kun, these genjutsu are getting rather dull, surely you're not at your limit, Orochimaru mocked, as if he was disappointed and bored. But when he said this, he felt that something was wrong and realized he was still under a genjutsu and used the genjutsu, Kai, illusion technique, release, to free himself of the genjutsu. As soon as he freed himself from the illusion, Orochimaru found himself standing in the middle of a small clearing. He then realized that Naruto had used Magen, Niju Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, demonic illusion, double false surroundings technique, where he used the binding vine genjutsu as a distraction. While hiding Magen, Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, demonic illusion, false surroundings technique, underneath the first genjutsu, so to keep him discovering Magen, Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu until it was too late. Very clever, Naruto-kun. You have indeed been trained well in using genjutsu, but what exactly are you up to? Thought the snake Sennin, as he looked around for Naruto. But when he tried to move his body, he could not, where when he looked around he saw several seals craved on the trees. It was then that he realized that Naruto had placed him under the Magen, Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, not to confuse him, but to lure him into the spot that the blonde boy wanted him to be in and hide what he was doing around the elder man until he was ready, which was now. Since Naruto had caught Orochimaru in Kekai Koti Fun, four-corner immobilization seal, which prevented him from moving for the moment, which was all the young Senju needed. For not only was Orochimaru in the center of a Kekai Koti Fun, but he was also in the center of an Fubuku Hojin, sealed bomb square release, as Naruto had planted all his remaining exploding notes on four nearby trees that surrounded the clearing that Orochimaru was in and activated them, causing them to blow up and bring down the four trees down on top of Orochimaru, crushing him underneath them. After the trees came down, Naruto appeared out from behind a nearby tree that he had been hiding behind and went over to examine his work. Although he wasn't entirely sure if he had really killed Orochimaru, since the man was a former Sannin like Jiraiya and his mother. The fact that he had four massive trees fall down on top of him would at least slow the nuke nin down enough for him to get away and get help. But before Naruto could leave the area, he suddenly heard the dark chuckling of Orochimaru all around. After which Orochimaru suddenly appeared out of the ground right in front of Naruto, without so much as a scratch on him, much to the horror and disbelief of Naruto. Kukukaku, very good Naruto-kun. It seems that my former mates have indeed trained you well, Orochimaru said, as he began to slowly walk towards Naruto, who took several small steps back in fear, before steadying himself, after which he redrew his katana from his back, which he had found while Orochimaru was busy fighting with his clones. When Orochimaru saw Naruto draw his katana out again, the snake Sennin just smirked as he was eager to see if Naruto had any more tricks left up his sleeves. He of course soon got his answer, where Naruto charged straight at Orochimaru with his katana, and attempted to slash the former Sannin. But as Orochimaru stepped back to avoid Naruto's slash, he realized that the slash was a feint, as when Naruto swung his hand it was empty. Upon which Orochimaru then saw a small glint of light, indicating that Naruto's katana was in his other hand. Orochimaru of course immediately recognized the technique Naruto was using, which was a technique of the Arajuijin no Mai, dance of the raging water goddess, fighting style, created by Uzumaki Kushina. The technique itself was called Mizu no Atsuin, rolling water, which involved the user switching his or her katana from one hand to the other in mid-swing when slashing at a target, who would try and avoid the first attack, thinking it was a regular slash, where in actuality it was a feint and the target would then be left exposed and open to the real attack. When Orochimaru realized what Naruto was doing, he immediately knew he didn't have much time to avoid the slash and quickly fell backwards to avoid Naruto's real slash. But even after avoiding the lethal slash, the snake Sennin did receive a large diagonal cut on his shirt. At the same time, when Orochimaru avoided Naruto's attack, the former Konoha nin struck back at Naruto, where as he fell backwards, he kicked the young Senju hard in the chest, sending him back a few feet. Naruto quickly recovered and countered with his Sarashu Fu, which Orochimaru quickly avoided. Although when he did, he realized the attack was just a distraction. When he saw Naruto charging at him at high speed with his katana thrust forward and coated with water to enhance the density and length of the blade. Recognizing the Tashio Yogi, treading water, 2, technique of the Arajuijin no Mai, Orochimaru immediately sidestepped Naruto, just when he was about to impale him with his katana. After which Orochimaru then delivered a roundhouse kick to the unguarded side of Naruto and sent the boy flying. Despite being kicked away by Orochimaru, Naruto quickly regained his footing, where he then saw the elder man using Shinayashu and sending several snakes at him. Seeing the snakes coming at him, Naruto quickly started to gather some of the moisture from the air and the grass underneath him and swung his sword along the ground in horizontal line to create a large wall of water in front of him. When Orochimaru saw the large wall of water appear in front of Naruto, he was naturally shocked at how Naruto created such a large mass of water without a large source of water nearby. Due to his shock, he barely registered that his snakes went through the wall of water and right past Naruto, revealing that the Naruto behind the wall of water was an illusion created by the water. After which the real Naruto appeared right above him and swung his katana down towards him. But when Naruto's katana sliced through Orochimaru's head, instead of there being blood, Orochimaru reverted into mud, revealing that the snake Sennin had replaced himself with a mud clone. Shit, he replaced himself, Naruto thought, when he saw Orochimaru revert into mud, and the real Orochimaru appear behind him and kicked him, causing the blonde boy to drop his katana again. After skidding across the ground and landing in a small heap, Naruto slowly picked himself up, due to still being hurt from the kick from behind. When he did, he looked up and saw Orochimaru slowly walking towards him with a sadistic smirk on his face. Kukukaku, you certainly are full of surprises, Naruto-kun. I had no idea that you had inherited the Nidaim's high affinity for water or that you could use it to such an impressive level. Even though you're not quite at the Nidaime Hokage's level yet, to be able to summon so much water from just the moisture of the plants and the air at your age is truly remarkable. Not to mention you have a talent for genjutsu just like your mother and your ancestor Senju Toka. Kukukaku, it seems that the Senju clan lives up to their reputation at having the strongest shinobi, Orochimaru said in amusement, as the longer he fought with Naruto the more fascinating he became. Seeing that Orochimaru was coming towards him, Naruto decided that it was time to reveal his final ace in the hole, where he did a ram hand seal and began to channel his chakra into the ground. When Orochimaru saw this, he stopped walking towards Naruto and began to wonder what Naruto was planning to do next. His question was of course quickly answered, where much to his utter astonishment and disbelief a large medium-sized tree appeared out of the ground right in front of Naruto. When Orochimaru saw the large tree appear in front of Naruto, he was stunned, where the only thing he could think of at the time was Makuten. After seeing Naruto use Makuten, it took Orochimaru a few minutes to get over his shock, since he had believed until now that only the Shodai Hokage possessed the ability. 3. Taking advantage of Orochimaru's surprise, Naruto quickly did some hand seals and then yelled Konoha Kamisori, razor leaves. D. After which all the leaves from the tree that Naruto grew, flew out from tree branches and started to spin around at high speed much like shuriken and then flew towards Orochimaru at high speed. Within seconds, the massive wave of spinning leaves converged in on Orochimaru and shredded him into pieces. Or at least that was what Naruto thought, after his Konoha Kamisori hit Orochimaru. As when the attack ended, all Naruto saw was the cut-up pieces of a wooden long, revealing that once again Orochimaru had replaced himself, just before the attack made contact with him. After seeing that his attack failed, Naruto immediately began to look around for where Orochimaru went, and as he looked he suddenly heard Orochimaru's voice cry out Shinayashu from above him. Knowing he didn't have much time, Naruto quickly did 3 high-speed hand seals and then cried out Makuten, Mokuho Hiki, would release, would locking wall, creating a large half-dome around him, which protected him from Orochimaru's snakes, which bit into the wooden barrier. Seeing what Naruto had done, Orochimaru then quickly reeled himself in with his snakes, whom were still connected with him, where he then stood on the top edge of the barrier and kneeled down slightly to look down on Naruto, who stood behind the barrier, below Orochimaru. Magnificent, simply magnificent Naruto-kun. I would have never have guessed that you would inherit the Shodai Makuten powers and reveal it as a true bloodline, when everyone else in your clan, including your mother, did not. It seems that the Senju blood runs true after all. And quote. Orochimaru said, as he eyed Naruto with glee, like child who found his new favorite toy. Now show me what else you can do with your bloodline. How about this then? Shouted Naruto as he charged his fist up with chakra and jumped at Orochimaru, where he destroyed the top portion of the wood barrier with his fist. Orochimaru of course quickly jumped off the wooden barrier, when Naruto smashed through it and landed a distance from the blonde, who had jumped up on the remaining top part of the barrier and did several more hand seals, after which he then held out the palm of his hand and cried out Makuten, Hiki no Toga, would release, flying wood spikes. Where small sharp spikes ejected out of his hand and flew at the snake Sanin at high speed, who just dodged the wooden spikes, while smiling, as if he were having the time of his life. Seeing how easily Orochimaru dodged his attack, Naruto quickly jumped onto the ground and did several more hand seals before yelling, Makuten, Moku no Toga, would release, wood spikes. And then slammed his hands onto the ground, after which, a wooden spike appeared out of the ground underneath Orochimaru, who narrowly avoided being impaled by the spike. After Orochimaru avoided his wooden spike, Naruto began to create several more wooden spikes, which emerged from the ground wherever Orochimaru went, but each time Orochimaru avoided the spikes with ease. Seeing that he was getting nowhere with this, Naruto decided to change tactics a little, where he created several different spikes around Orochimaru. This then forced Orochimaru to jump up into the air to avoid the spikes, which was of course what Naruto wanted. As soon as Orochimaru was in mid-air, he held out his hand and cried out Banmuchi, Vine Whip. After which several vines sprung out from Naruto's arms and wrapped themselves around the elder man, or at least what Naruto thought was him. For as soon as Naruto forced Orochimaru into the air, the snake Sennin realized what Naruto was attempting and immediately replaced himself with a log, as soon as Naruto created his vines. Seeing that he failed to catch Orochimaru, Naruto let go of the wooden log and recalled the vines back into his arms. Once he did this, Orochimaru fell from above and landed directly in front of Naruto. My Naruto-kun, I must say I'm very impressed with you, to be so skilled and yet be so young. You're indeed a true Senju. You're proving to be far more entertaining than even Sasuke-kun. As you continue to surprise me with your unique skills, especially with that last attack you did, I dare say you may even surpass the Shodai Hokage one day. Clearly your Makuten ability is more advanced than his, Orochimaru said with glee, as Naruto was surpassing even the snake Sennin widest exceptions of him. Naruto of course did not respond to Orochimaru praise, as he focused more on what he should do next, where when the former Sanin finished talking, he had come up with a new plan. After coming up with his new strategy, Naruto immediately charged up his fist with a massive amount of chakra and then released it all when he slammed his fist into the ground and cried out Chikakuendo, Earthshaker Impact. Causing the ground to rise up all around him and scatter into pieces, causing massive damage all around the area. The force of the punch was of course so strong that it forced Orochimaru to once again jump up into the air and land a distance away from Naruto. This was of course what Naruto wanted, for when Orochimaru was forced up into the air, Naruto did several quick hand seals and cried Makuten, Mokushoku, would release, wooden tentacles. And slammed his hands onto the ground, after which several wooden tentacles appeared underneath the Nuke Nin, just as he landed on the ground, and wrapped themselves around the snake Sanin holding him tightly. Seeing that he had gotten Orochimaru this time for sure, Naruto quickly created 7 new shadow clones of himself and sent the first 3 of them to the far right of Orochimaru. He then sent 2 of them to Orochimaru's far left and kept the remaining other 2 with him. Once his clones were in position, Naruto then began some hand seals and gathered all the water he could from the air and the nearby plants, after which he then shouted out Suten, Suryudan no Jutsu, water style, water dragon bullet technique. Creating a massive water dragon, where his first clone channeled its lightning chakra into the water dragon to increase its destructive power, whilst the second clone blew out a large amount of wind into the water dragon to increase its power and speed. Once the 2 other elements were combined with the water dragon, Naruto and his clones cried out the name of their combination attack. Mizu Fu, Kanbo Rakurai, Psycho no Suryudan Dinaki, Water, Wind, and Lightning Combo, Supreme Electric Water Dragon. At the same time, Naruto's 3 clones that were on Orochimaru's far right began their own attacks, where the first clone did some hand seals and yelled Suten, Mizurappa, Water Style, Violent Water Wave, and gushed out a large amount of water. As the first clone did this, the second clone, channeled his wind chakra and blew out a large burst of wind into the water wave to increase its power and speed, while the third clone channeled his lightning chakra into the water wave to increase its power. After the two clones combined their two elements, with the first clone's water attack, the three clones cried out the name of their new attack. Mizu Fu, Kanbo Rakurai Reizoya, water, wind, and lightning combination, electric water wave. Also at the same time the two Naruto clones on Orochimaru's far left began to do their own hand seals, where the first clone cried out Suten, Teppodama, water style, gunshot. After which second clone then channeled its lightning chakra into the water bullets when the first Naruto clone fired. After the two Naruto clones finished combining their attacks they then cried out the name of their new attack, Reisui Rinkei, Reisui Bakudan, lightning water collaboration, lightning water bombs. As the three separate combination attacks came towards him, the former Sannin was of course surprised to say the least, not only because Naruto could do combination attacks, but also he revealed he had lightning affinity, meaning that he had 4 nature affinities, something that Orochimaru thought would be impossible for a boy let alone anyone to have. Within seconds of the 3 separate attacks being fired, they collided with their target, where a massive explosion of wind, water and lightning erupted, forcing Naruto to cover his eyes with his arm from the shockwave of the explosion. When the explosion ended, Naruto's clones puffed away, while Naruto fell to his knees, breathing heavily with some sweat failing from his forehead, as he was just about tapped out. The battle itself had taken everything he had. He was just about out of chakra, his body was aching from all the hits he took from Orochimaru and he was tried from fighting for so long and so hard. When he looked over to where Orochimaru was, there was a small crater from the explosion and in the center laid Orochimaru, face down in the ground unmoving. Seeing this, a tired smile appeared on Naruto's face. He had done it, he had won, he'd beaten Orochimaru, the infamous Snake Sannin. Pa, you wanted to see what I could do, heavy team? Pa, well you got it, Pa. You made the mistake of underestimating me and you paid the price for it, said Naruto, as he looked at Orochimaru's body, after which he slowly picked himself up and was about to leave to regroup with his teammates. But before he could leave and rejoin with his team, he suddenly heard a dark chuckle out of nowhere. Kukukukuku, I would not be so sure of that, Naruto-kun. After Naruto heard this, the next thing Naruto knew, Orochimaru sprung out of the ground from underneath him and wrapped his body around the blonde boy like a snake coiling around its caught prey. Naruto of course tried to struggle free, but he was too tired from his long battle with the former Sannin to resist much and did not have enough chakra to even try. Orochimaru had wrapped himself pretty tightly around the young Senju, squeezing him tightly and preventing him from moving. Kukaku, I afraid that you're the one who underestimated me, Naruto-kun, the snake Sennin said, as he looked Naruto directly in the face. But how? Naruto hissed, as he struggled to breathe, where he looked to Orochimaru and then to the one that was lying on the ground. TSK, Naruto-kun, you should know better, the former Sannin said, as if he was talking to an infant, where he then had Naruto look over at the Orochimaru in the small crater. When Naruto turned around he saw that the Orochimaru in the crater was in fact a shadow clone, which poof away in a puff of smoke. When Naruto saw this he silently cursed himself for being duped so easily and falling for a trick that he himself would have played. If you're going to kill me, then get it over with, because there's not a chance in hell that I'm going beg for me life, Naruto said defiantly, as he glared angrily at the snake Sennin, as he would rather die than give the man the pleasure of seeing him beg for his life. When Orochimaru heard this, the elder man just smiled in amusement and said, kill you. Now why would I do such a foolish thing like that? It would be such a waste, to kill someone as skilled as you, Naruto-kun. I dare say you've more potential than even Sasuke-kun has. Then what do you want with me? Why did you attack my team and me? And what the hell did you do to Sasuke? Naruto demanded, as he glared at Orochimaru. To put it simply, Naruto-kun, I came here to test Sasuke-kun and you and see how strong you both were, where if you passed, I would present you with a little gift, just like I did with Sasuke-kun. And given how well you fought me and what you showed me, I must confess you've surpassed even my wildest conceptions of you, which is why I will present you with my gift as well. You can keep your so-called gift, I want nothing from you, Naruto spat out angrily. Oh come now, Naruto-kun, I know you don't mean that, for I know what you truly crave deep down inside you, Orochimaru said. And what is that? Asked Naruto, not believing a word that the man said. I know that deep down you want to step out of your mother's and your forefathers' shadows. You want to be recognized for yourself and not as the son of Tsunade the Sannin or the descendant of the Nidaime and Shodai Hokages, Orochimaru answered. So what of it? That doesn't mean I will take anything from you, Naruto answered. Oh, but there is more. I also know that deep down, you fear that you can never live up to people's exceptions of you, let alone match or surpass your mother and your ancestors, and that the pressure of being their heir will break you. You fear that you'll always remain in their shadows and never step out of it. You fear that you will always be known as the son of Tsunade and nothing else. That is what I know, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru replied, where he was pleased to see Naruto's eyes widen in surprise, showing that he was indeed correct. At the same time, Orochimaru silently planned to thank Kabuto, as thanks to him, he knew how to get to Naruto. After seeing the surprised look on Naruto's face, Orochimaru knew he had hit his mark and decided to go in for the kill. But you need not worry, Naruto-kun, for what I have to offer can help you finally achieve what you desire most and will help you to not only surpass your mother and your ancestors, but also become a shinobi like none before. Then everyone will acknowledge your strength. After hearing this for a moment, for one singular moment, Naruto was tempted in taking what Orochimaru had to offer. But then he remembered what Jiraiya once told him, that Orochimaru was a master manipulator, who would promise you the sun, the sky and the world, if it meant getting you to do what he wanted you to do, or to get what he wanted. I told you before, I don't want anything from you. As far as I care, you can take your gift and stuff it and go back to whatever hellhole you spawned from, Naruto answered. Orochimaru of course was unaffected by Naruto insults and just smiled, so defiant, just like your mother, but I would expect nothing less from you. And regardless of your feelings, Naruto-kun, I will give you it and you will eventually come looking for me and the power that I can give you, just like Sasuke-kun will, Orochimaru replied. After which he then bit down hard on the right side of Naruto's neck, just as he did with Sasuke earlier on. When Orochimaru bit down on Naruto's neck, Naruto suddenly felt an intense amount of pain flood his entire body. Naruto of course tried to resist screaming, but the pain became too much for him and he began to scream, which was music to the snake Sennin. Soon after, though, Orochimaru released his teeth from Naruto and the let go of Naruto, who collapsed onto the ground and fought to keep from falling unconsciousness. When Naruto fell to the ground, Orochimaru saw his curse seal take form, where 3 slightly curved lines appeared on the side of Naruto's neck. Ah, the earth seal, how fitting, given your Makuten ability and how Sasuke-kun now has the heaven seal, Orochimaru commented, who was pleased with what happened, since in terms of power, the earth seal was on even terms with Sasuke's heaven seal. WWWH, what are you planning to do to me now? Naruto asked, as he struggled to stay awake. Nothing, Orochimaru replied, I've already achieved what I planned out to do, Naruto-kun, as I've tested both you and Sasuke-kun and given you both my seal. Now all that's left is for you and Sasuke-kun to survive and pass this exam. And I expect for you, Naruto-kun, to achieve the highest score of all, Orochimaru said, and began to walk away. But after only taking a few steps, he suddenly stopped and turned back. Oh, before I forget, the man said, where much to Naruto's disgust, Orochimaru regurgitated one of the earth scrolls that he took from Team 7 earlier and placed it next to Naruto. Another gift from me, for providing a far more entertaining show than I ever expected, said Orochimaru, after which he began to sink into the ground. We'll meet again very soon, Naruto-kun. You will seek me out and join me, for what I can offer you. After Orochimaru sank into the ground, Naruto finally lost his battle to stay awake and fell into the sweet oblivion that was unconsciousness. With Tsunade and Shizune currently in a small casino that was a few days away from Konoha, Tsunade of the Densetsu no Sannin was sitting down playing a slot machine, with her loyal apprentice Shizune and her pet pig Tauntaun standing next to her. Although Tsunade had mainly given up on gambling after she gave birth to Naruto, she did play a little on the slot machines, with some spare change. For the past 6 months, Tsunade and Shizune had been Kiba no Kuni, Fang Country, treating a disease that had been spreading from a large town in the country. It had taken much longer than either women had expected, since the disease had been difficult to treat and was very contagious. But eventually, Tsunade once again proved why she was hailed as the world's greatest medic of her time and cured the people of the disease. Once the disease was cured, Tsunade and Shizune began their journey to Konoha, seeing as Tsunade was eager to see her son again after so long. Even though Naruto had written to them once a week, she still wanted to see her son, especially since she had recently heard that Naruto would be entering the Chunin exam this year. This was of course no big surprise to her. She knew that Naruto was more than ready to handle himself in the exam and was sort of eager to see how well he would handle himself. She also knew that Konoha's council most likely insisted that Naruto be part of the exam, since he was her son and was the new heir of the Senju clan, which of course would bring about a lot of publicity for the village. As she continued to play, she suddenly hit the casino jackpot where hundreds of coins started to spill out of the machine. When Tsunade saw this, she suddenly started to worry, as when it came to gambling she had the worst luck in the world and would always lose. That is, unless something bad was going to happen, where Tsunade would win, and the bigger the prize the worse the situation. Hence, after winning the casino big jackpot on just the slot machine, Tsunade knew something bad was going to happen or was happening now. This fear of the worst only grew when she suddenly felt a pain in her chest, as if someone had stabbed her in the heart. Tsunade only felt this pain once before in her life, which was during the incident of Oni no Kuni, Demon Country, when Naruto and Shien were being attacked by the Ame shinobi. After this pain appeared, Tsunade immediately knew something had happened to Naruto, whether it was mother's maternal instincts or something else. She didn't know or care, all she knew was something had happened to her son and he needed her. At the same time, Shizune and Tonton became concerned at their mistress' actions. Like Tsunade, they knew what would happen whenever Tsunade won at gambling. Their concerns only grew further when they saw Tsunade place her hand over her heart knowing that something was wrong. "Tsunade-sensei, are you alright? Is something wrong?" the worried Shizune asked. "No, I'm not alright, something has happened to Naru-chan," the worried Tsunade replied. "Naruto, but how?" asked Shizune, since she didn't understand how Tsunade knew such a thing. "I don't know how, I just know that something has happened to him. I can feel it in my heart," Tsunade answered, as she suddenly got up and told Shizune that they were leaving. After which, the two kunoichi start to race toward Konoha at top speed so to get to Naruto as soon as possible. Well, it seems like you've made it to the end of part 8 too. What if Naruto was a Senju? Anyways, I need to get on with the other uploads, so I hope all of you have a wonderful day/night. Bye.